Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're joining us tonight, we're doing a live. We've got some big news that happened today in relation to the Danny Masterson case, and I'll let Claire talk about that for just a sec because she's the subject of the news.
The news is out. I will be called as an expert witness to testify on the policies and practices of Scientology. So that's a good thing.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Claire was on the list to be a witness in the last trial, and they were trying to keep a lot of the Scientology stuff out of the trial, so she wasn't called. And I guess they're letting a little bit more in, so it is what it is. I don't think we really are going to talk much more about it because we don't want to jeopardize anything with the case or whatever. But this is big news regardless because it's big news. I mean, I'm sure Aaron's already done a video on it, but and he could go into that, but. Yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to say. It is confirmed Claire is going to be called, and that was approved by the judge in the case today at the hearing or whatever took place today. So that there's that. We're going to do a Q&A tonight, guys, and at the end, we're just going to show the bobblehead pics and the Shoops at the end of the video, but we're going to do a Q&A now. So anybody who wants to ask any questions or you've got anything that you've been wondering about in regards to Scientology, we're going to answer those. We're going to try to do some parody, but we will do super chats and we'll do non-super chats. We'll try to, balance out how many we do of each. But if you guys have got questions, put them in there. And then when we get to a certain point, we'll just... we'll call it quits on the Q&A, and then we'll show the pictures at the end. And yeah, so thanks for joining us. We got a lot of people in here already.
Yes.
Oh wow, we've been only 2 minutes in. We've already got about 700 people in here, which is great. Just so you guys know, we are at 26,748 subscribers. If we hit 27,000, which is about 100. What do we need? 250? What is that? Yeah, we need about a little over 250. If we hit 250, there's 700 people here right now. Some of you may not be subscribers, but
we're calling on you up to 732 now. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead. Now's your moment. You could get picked to be a lucky winner.
Yeah, if we hit 27K in the stream, we're going to pick somebody in the comments to win a bobblehead, a bracelet, or a Blown for Good book, paperback or hardback, signed by Claire and myself. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, get down there and get to that. And we could hit 27K right here tonight. So have you, you've already got a bunch of questions even started. Look at this. Apostate Amanda.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. I love our growing community. It is just amazing.
Please read my comment above. Okay. Oh, here it is.
I'll try and find that.
I found it. I already got it. It says, hey, if Bill SB 5280 here in Washington State becomes law, Scientology will be forced to be mandated reporters if they discover anyone within the church is committing crimes of child abuse and child neglect. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, I don't know so much about that bill. I don't know. Do people have to vote on it?
Amanda, please email me. I would love to learn more about that because, if Scientology
we need to tell. If we need to tell everybody to vote for it.
Yes, exactly. And then we need to get that in every other state.
Yeah, that could be huge.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, Apostate Amanda, or comment below if people need to vote on it in Washington. We can even put a link to information on the bill or whatever. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Apostate Amanda.
Yeah.
Here we go. What does it say? Oh yeah. Hey friends and future SPs, I'm buzzing about the trial news. Can't wait to hear all the deets. Well, yeah, the deets are what we just said. So, yeah, there you go. We're going to try not to say too much more about it.
Nope.
But I will put, I just realized I can put, I think there's a way for me to put the subscribers up here. So, oh, yeah, there it is. So I can see a live count. We're already up to 760, 26, 760. So
Oh, okay. Nice.
we got 10 in 10 seconds. So we could easily, we'll see how many people we get up in here. And if you see any new people you know show up, then you can let them know in the comments that it's time. John Sostowski says, do you have any other steamy stories like Monday Night Story about the magic bus ride? The magic bus ride was that Claire and I held hands on a bus for 2 hours. That was the extent of that. All of the other peanut gallery nonsense from Aaron was just supposed.
I'd love to know how that compares to other people's first dates.
Yeah.
Like we held hands on a bus ride to Los Angeles to attend a Scientology event.
It was on the way back that we held hands.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anyway, I don't know.
Which was an hour and a half bus ride in front of what, like 50 other Sea Org members?
Yeah, 48. Those buses fit 48 people, I think, including a driver.
Just to set realistic expectations as to what you might have envisioned by the added commentary from Mr. A. Ron.
Yeah, I know a lot of other steamy stories, but they're not our stories. They're other people's stories. And there were a few staff that ended up on in the Sea organization in Scientology, the people that sign the billion-year contracts that are in what's called the Sea Org. They're not allowed to have, you're not allowed to have any sort of relations before you're married. But once you are married, you're not allowed to have relations with anybody else. And there were at least 2 people that I know of that had some steamy bus rides just from the base to berthing, which is about a 15-minute trip. And they were having steamy interludes, and they ended up on the Rehabilitation Project Force in Los Angeles. So steamy stories are usually frowned upon at that place. So that's all we're going to say about that. Breaking news, Scientology includes Andy Nolche on witness list as rebuttal expert. I don't know who that is, Scott Davison. Claire, can you get your Google Foo going and find out who Andy Nolch is? Nolch. Breaking news, Scientology includes Andy Nolch on witness list as a rebuttal expert. I don't know who that is. I'm trying not to say anything about this. Let's just leave it at that for now.
So I just Googled his name, and it says Andy Nolch Show on Odyssey.com. He has a podcast called the Indie Scientology Podcast. Are you interested in the interesting world of Scientology? The Indie Scientology Podcast has guest interviews, Scientology wins, conspiracies, and much, much more, hosted by Andy Nolch. Available on more podcast apps.
That's weird. Why would they call him as a witness?
If that's real.
Yeah, that's super weird. We got to verify that, guys.
Either way,
Yeah,
I know what I know. I have $96,000 worth of Scientology training and counseling under my belt, according to our freeloader bill. So I'm going to be testifying about my knowledge of Scientology policy. We'll leave it at that. Exactly.
Barb Sylvie says, Claire is here to save the day. They got an expert. Yes. Bison 5360 says, I caught the live chat. Yes, you did, Bison 5360.
Thank you for being here.
Snooky says, I literally had a conversation with a dear friend tonight wherein she told me she might have to disconnect from me. I'm in tears. Oh, that sucks, Snooky. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a bummer. Yeah, that's another really weird thing.
Snooky is the one that was at the base from last night.
Which base?
She said, he or she, or whatever you present as, said last night in last night's stream that they were brought to the base as a professional.
Oh, yes. I didn't know that was the same person.
Pretty sure.
Wow. Calico26 says, was Mary Sue a true believer? Did she still believe in Scientology after L. Ron basically threw her to the curb? I think she did. And I think she was loyal to the very end even. And
yeah. What's weird about that is that we never knew. Like Mary Sue was just ushered completely off the lines. Like she was living in Los Feliz. We were at the headquarters. And I never knew, at least until I was in Religious Technology Center, that she was even still around.
Yeah, it was a big secret.
Yeah.
Even where she lived in LA was a big secret. And the only people that would go over there were usually, people from the Ant Base or a guy named Neville that used to work at Authored Services. He was kind of like her, I don't know if you want to say handler, but he was the one who would kind of check in with her and see how she was doing and that kind of thing, because he had been in Scientology. I think he got into Scientology around the same time as she did when she in England. And was Neville related to Leanne Potter? Do you know? No, Leanne Potter was married to James Potter, and James Potter was the son. So she was I think she was an in-law. Somebody correct me if that's not right, but I thought James Potter was the son of Neville and whoever his spouse was.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the weird thing, because
Neville, he was married to Barbara, I think.
I don't remember the
Leslie,
wife.
the crazy
Potter.
white curly hair.
Was his wife?
Yes.
Leslie was his wife?
Yes,
oh, wow.
and she escaped one time, and they worked overtime to get her brought back.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't. There was a lot of people at the base that had the same last names, so you just assumed they were related in some way.
Yeah.
And turns out a bunch of them weren't. They just had the same last names. They had no relation. For the longest time, I thought that Marty Rathbun and Ronnie Rathbun were brothers. I just assumed that they're. I mean, the Rathbun.
You couldn't have more different people.
Well, yeah, in terms of their personalities.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and everything, pretty much. But they both were about the same size, though. And they're both they were both tall and kind of beefy. But I just always assumed that they were brothers. And then I think I even said somewhere like, oh, yeah, his brother used to work in the galley. And someone's like, what are you talking about? Like, Ronnie goes, oh, they weren't related. I'd be like, there were two people at that property that had Rathbun as the last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe the Potters were too, but I'm pretty sure that James Potter. Oh, James Potter, by the way, is the one who was looking on the internet.
Yes.
There was only a handful of people that could get on the internet, and this guy was one of them. And he was looking at a picture. This is so weird. He was looking at a picture that somebody had shooped of David Miscavige, and David Miscavige walked up behind him while he was looking at it. And that's the only reason that I am aware of the knowledge that David Miscavige hates when people do shoops of him, because this was like one of 3 on the internet at the time. And thanks to us, there's about 3,000, I think, now. And we're going to cover those at the end of this video, which is very convenient. Yeah. Yeah, Mary Sue, we did that one.
There's one from Jeff Hawkins that you got to put up. It's amazing.
Okay. Ann Burrows says, hey, Claire, what did you think when you found out Marc was passed out drunk on the sidewalk? Hope you get to do your TED Talk eventually.
Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I came to LA because that's when we were in the middle of transitioning. We had been living in Kansas City, and then Marc, you got that job in LA.
Yeah.
And you told me about what happened. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because I broke my glasses.
I honestly had never been drunk in my life at that point. And
I'd never been blackout drunk. I'd been a little tipsy, but I'd never been like pass out, just have no clue what happened. But the funny thing is it was in May when this happened, and I escaped in January. And after I left, I kept getting these really, really bad headaches. And how do I hide this thing? I kept getting these really bad headaches. And when I passed out, my glasses got broken. And all I had was the frame and one lens. I didn't even have the other lens. And so after that happened in January 2005, I went to the optometrist to get a new pair of glasses. And I had the one lens, and they were both the same. And I gave it to the optometrist, and they did an exam and everything. And they said, do you have the glasses that you were wearing before? Not these ones? And I said, well, no, these are the ones I've been wearing. They said, well, that can't be true. And I said, well, no, those are my glasses. I've had those for like 5 years or something. And they said that it's not, there's no way. And they retested me again. And then they said, yeah, this prescription is more than double the prescription that you need. And in Scientology, they tell you that if you blow, you have overts. And if you have overts, you need glasses. Like, one of the symptoms of having overts is that you need glasses. And so if I had escaped from Scientology because of overts, or left because of overts, then in theory my eyesight should have gotten worse, not almost all the way better. My prescription wasn't that bad, but to be half. And the optometrist explained that just sleeping regularly and getting rest and everything was making my eyes more effective. So that's why I needed a much less prescription than when I was working 120 plus hours a week. So so take that, Scientology. My eyesight improved after I left, and even now I wear readers, but my eyes are still nowhere near as bad as they were when I was in Scientology. So yeah, it wasn't really, we didn't make such a big deal out of it. We weren't in Scientology anymore, so I passed out. I got drunk, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even know that photo existed until what, like 7 years later.
Yeah, I think that photo was sent to me. Yeah, and I want to say 2011, 2012.
2012, when you did the outline for your second book.
Yes, that's right. So that is when I got sent that. Somewhere in there, I got sent that picture. Well, because I was passed out. I didn't know there was a photo shoot taking place while I was laying on the boulevard. Andy Brown. Hi, Marc and Claire. I read your book on vacation last week. Loved it and laughed so many times. How the heck is Cine pronounced? Sounds dumb no matter how I say it. Yeah, just Cine.
As in cinematography.
Yeah, cinematographer.
Cine. Yeah.
Yeah. L. Ron Hubbard professed that he was an expert on cinematography. He was an expert director, an expert screenwriter, all of these things. And if you saw the movies that he turned out, oh my goodness, like, I want to say like a child's home movie that they could put together. That's about the quality of L. Ron Hubbard's films that were professionally lit, set decorated, costume designed. I mean, they were horrible. They were so bad. So, he couldn't have just called it the cinematography division. He had to call it Cine.
There has to be an abbreviation or something, a term.
Yeah, the place that I worked for many of the years that I was at the Ent base, probably a third, was called the Cine Castle. And when I was the shoot crew chief, which is in the real film and TV production world, that would be called like a first assistant director. And then I was a pre-production director, and then I was a producer. All of those over the Cine division, and some of those over the audio division, and so on and so forth. Okay, Floor Gaza, pick me. I want a book, please, please, please. Floor Gaza, we got to get to 27,000 first.
No, I was feeling charitable. Go ahead and email me, and I'll send you a book.
What? You're just saying that's it?
Yeah.
But we're still doing the 27K one.
Yeah, we will.
Holy moly, Claire's
she's
on a mad tear right now with the philanthropy. We're at 26,768. So we need like, what is that, 232? Is that the math?
And we're at 1279 right now. So
When you say 1279.
1279 viewers.
Yeah, if you guys are in here, we're trying to get 27,000 subscribers in this stream, and someone's going to win something. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If we hit 27,000 if we hit 27,000, we're giving a book away. Claire will pick it no matter what. But if we give it away in this stream, I say we do 3. We do a book, a bobblehead, and a bracelet.
Sure, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Tonight,
let's add
right
some
now,
incentives.
in the stream.
I have to just read this funny comment from Apostate Alex. He said,
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is it mildly amusing? You probably spent more time on an actual boat on holiday last week than your whole time in the Sea Org. Yes, that's very amusing.
Yeah, well, to be honest,
I did anyway, for me.
Yeah, for you for sure. I did spend a bunch of time on the Freewinds for events. And also I went to the Freewinds when I was not even in the Sea Org. I went to the Freewinds as a public. My friend went with his family, and I was the tag along friend. And we did some courses. We had to listen to some lectures. We did some jet skiing, I think. We did some scuba diving. We destroyed some scooters, I think, on a Curacao, I want to say. We rented some, and that didn't work out too well. I think we were about 14 when that happened. But so, yeah, I've spent several weeks probably collectively on the Freewinds. But I've spent many, many more weeks on other cruises. and they all have been better than the Freewinds. The Freewinds is like a tiny tugboat compared to one of these current cruise ships that are floating around.
Oh, my gosh.
C. Smog says, Hi, Mark and Claire. I'm glad there's an American Marc that spells his name the right way. We got a Frenchie in here. What's the best way to email? Your contact page on BFG is empty. Yeah, we're redoing the BFG site. But you can go to the About page of my YouTube channel on a computer, and it says for business purposes. And you click on that, and it just lets you see my email, and you can send me something. And yeah, we'll do it. What was your first, Mark? This is from Mark Fisher. Thank you, C. Smog. Mark Fisher, what was your first jobs? Get more than $50? Yeah, we were paid.
Yeah.
We were paid $50 a week. Then they took out taxes, and I think it was. I always want to say it was like $46.28. That's the figure that I remember. Because,
something like that. I'm sure I have one of our pay slips somewhere in my endless files that I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first job was as a waitress at a pizza restaurant that was within walking distance because we had no car.
Yeah.
And my favorite part was we had borrowed Mark's dad's car. Mark drove me to the interview. I went in and
well,
did
first
the
of
interview.
all,
Yep.
it was the very first place that we went to that you interviewed at. We left at 9:00 in the morning to go find Claire a job.
Yeah.
And then, okay, continue. It was the first place we went.
And talk about jarring realities. Like on Monday, I had escaped from the hole. And on Thursday, I was interviewing at this pizza restaurant for a job as a waitress. And oh my gosh. So I went in, did the interview, I walk out, and you're like, so how'd it go? Like, I got the job.
This is like 15 minutes later.
Yeah. And you said, so how much are they going to pay you? I'm like, I forgot to ask.
She didn't even discuss.
I didn't even care, honestly. I was just like, whatever. I got a job.
But the best part is that Claire was so good there. I think, how many months were you like? You were like assistant
I was there for
manager.
6 weeks, and they wanted me to take over one of their stores.
Yeah. And then Claire ended up getting an office manager job at an equestrian, or what do you call it? Equine insurance company.
Yeah, equine and farm insurance in Raymore, Missouri, which is where we were at the time, which was amazing. And
we were in Lee Summit.
Yeah, but the office was in Raymore, Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even there, it was, I made a,
That's
what was
enough.
it?
You don't have to tell all the details of it. But
Moving
I'm just saying, Claire was definitely
good
making
times.
more than $50 a week. And I was fixing...
And thanks for joining us, Mark.
Yes. I was fixing, my father was a computer technician, and he worked for IBM and Dell. And I think at the time he was working for IBM. I can't remember. He was working for IBM or Dell, and he would go off to sites like a Walmart and do a whole refresh of all the cash registers and the servers and all that, or go to a bank, and he'd go for a week or two. And when he would go do that, we would take him to the airport, and then we would use his car while he was at the job. So as long as he was out somewhere on a site doing his project, then we had a car. And so he had like a side business where he fixed personal computers, or even just PCs for businesses or whatever. And he could never get to those. So I started doing that work. And I think I was making $50 an hour my first week out. That's how much I was getting paid, was $50 an hour to fix computers. And I had been fixing computers and doing stuff at the base with computers. So I knew how to do that. I knew my way around computers pretty good. I had built thousands and thousands of film systems, which were located on computers. And they were located on Dells, so I was very familiar with, some of the most popular computers. So yeah, I went from making $45.28 a week to $50 an hour in the first week. So yeah, and it's, I pretty much have managed to kind of go up from there since. Good question, Mark. Thank you.
Yes, we both have.
I don't think we've ever talked about that before.
We both have. Though we kind of joked a few times about how our stats were in affluence because we've gone from, what like 20 cents an hour.
Oh my God.
Or whatever it was. I don't even know.
Well, that was the other thing is, so we were with my dad for 3 weeks. How long did we stay there with him? 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah, because it was right after Valentine's Day 2005 when we got that apartment that we moved to. So I arrived to Kansas City like on the 26th of January, I think. And by
26th, 27th, something like that.
Yeah.
And then, within a few weeks, we moved into a townhome, and we were trying to get our stuff. So we didn't have any stuff. We had our clothes that we were wearing, and that's pretty much all we owned.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of stuff that was located at the international headquarters, but they wouldn't give it to us, and they wouldn't let us go get it.
No.
So
the funniest was when I wrote an email to Warren McShane, who was one of the top legal guy in religious technologies, and I was like, hey, we'll just come to Sublet Road, which was where we were living when we were there, and we'll just load up a truck. And it was like, hell no.
Yeah, which the Sublet Road is Int Base adjacent. It's right on the outside of the fence of the Int Base.
I'm like, it's not like we don't know where we lived. Just let us pack up our stuff.
Yeah. And then what we found out, which I wasn't really aware of this because I had never really been involved with people that had escaped, and the policies and the procedure that they took with their stuff and all that good stuff. But what they did is they went through all of our stuff, and they took out any photos that we had where we were like in Sea Org garb, or we were with other Sea Org members, or pictures around the base, and they just took all those out.
Yeah, and like I had a photo with David Miscavige in the middle with me on one side and Katie Feshbach on the other. That was removed. And they didn't give us our wedding video either for some bizarre reason.
Well, because there was Int-Base staff in our wedding video.
True. Yeah.
And so they didn't give us our wedding video. And then basically any photos that we'd had our entire life were there, and they went through those and they took whichever ones they wanted. And then I had like some jackets that were gifts to me from David Miscavige. They took all those. And the thing that I'm most upset is that I had these cassette decks. They were called Nakamichi cassette decks. They're really high-end cassette decks that I had refurbished and then bought from the organization. And they kept those. And I was like, but those were mine. I mean, those weren't yours. I paid for those. And that would have been worth, probably $5 more than back in 2005. I could have, use those for Depeche Mode tickets or something. But they took a bunch of other stuff. But by the time, I think we got this stuff in April, and we have to do a video about that trip.
Yeah,
because no one's ever.
And pull up the inventory so people can actually.
We should do
it.
that. We should do that. Let's try to do that next week for Tuesday if we can.
Yeah.
I think we should do it as a live. I think it would be so much better as a live.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just crazy.
Anyway, but we ended up getting our stuff in April of 2005. So from January to April, we got all new clothes. We got all new furniture. We bought whatever we needed to be able to live. And by the time we got our stuff and we filled a Ryder, you rent at Home Depot or
Penske truck.
Penske or whatever. We rented like a box truck. We put all that stuff in it. We also had 2 motorcycles. So Claire's motorcycle was still at the property. My motorcycle was hidden in Los Angeles somewhere. And so we got
our dog.
And our dog
most
was still
important.
at the international headquarters. And we put all that into this box truck. And we drove that to Kansas City. And the craziest part was by the time we got it to Kansas City and we went through it, was like, this stuff is trash. Who cares?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
we don't want any of this stuff that reminds us of that place. So for the most part,
since we'd been eating like normal humans, most of our clothes didn't even fit us anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Those imp-based clothes, they were, but between January and April, none of my clothes fit me. I was pretty skin and bones back then too, so there was not. You could see all of my ribs, the outline of them. So. Yeah, you can't see. You're going to have to go deep, deep, deep undercover to find a rib here now. Okay, I think we answered that question sufficiently.
Yeah.
Cy, never thought 8 years ago when I saw your escape stories at Surviving Scientology channel that one day you would be doing awesome SPTV, live SPTV. Thank for all you do. Yes, Surviving Scientology. Is that Jeff and Karen's channel or Karen's channel?
Yes.
Karen Delacarriere?
Jeff, yeah.
So Jeff and Karen did videos on YouTube for a long time. And I want to say...
And Jeff has a podcast too, which I think you and I have both participated in. And
yeah, I've been on it at least once or twice, I think. Maybe even 3 times. And I've appeared on Karen's channel several times. But yeah, I think Karen's channel might have been one of the most viewed channels on YouTube for many, many years. If it may still even be. I think some of her videos have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views.
I think even millions. I think it's
single
it's
videos
in
that have
excess.
millions of views.
No, like cumulatively, all of
the
videos
channel might
in
have
excess.
Yeah, the channel most certainly has millions of views. But yeah, we've been doing shows. We did Coast to Coast, KFI AM640, K-Rock in Los Angeles, the Coast to Coast AM After Dark, ABC, NBC, BBC. We've been on a million different shows. We haven't only done stuff on YouTube. We've done stuff all over the world for Australian TV, Danish TV, British TV, American TV, German TV,
Germany documentary.
Yeah, we've done it. We've been here for a minute doing this. So if you Google us, not only will you find our hate sites from Scientology, but you might find some of those videos. Thank you for that. This is Susie Q. Thank you, Susie Q. Jude Morrow. Okay, are there any class? Is that 7? Class 7?
12.
Class 12.
Are there any Class 12 auditors left? Seems like we, Dave, will have to go off source if the auditors who audit OT levels blow, leave quietly, or die.
Yeah, I don't think they make. I mean, maybe if they make them at flag, a Class 12 auditor.
Class 12, it means that they're able to like Class 10, 11, and 12 is all to train you on how to deliver the L rundowns. And at least when we were there, the L rundowns were still in the format that had been written by David Mayo. So they weren't being promoted, publicized.
David Mayo was a bad guy in Scientology.
Yeah.
that got kicked out.
Yeah, and who then started an independent Scientologist practice.
Yeah, so the Class 12 auditor is the highest trained auditor you can be in Scientology. It means you can deliver every single thing on the bridge from the top to the bottom as a counselor.
Yeah, but they had not made any new Class 12 auditors since at least prior to 1996. Yeah. Because when they released the Golden Age of Tech in 1996, doing up to Class 12 was not part of it.
Yeah, they only did the all of the new technology that David Miscavige has been figuring out. It only goes up to a certain point. It doesn't go up that high. So they haven't been making any for probably more than 20 years.
Yeah, and actually I remembered. So when I was sent to Clearwater in 96 to train as a RTC rep, there were probably around 30 Class 12s at that point, and I know a bunch of them have died or escaped or left quietly since then. So I don't know if there's any left, but if there are, it's a very small number.
Yeah. Okay, good question. I want a book too, Claire, please. Hey, Susie Q, we got 200 subscribers left. We've already closed the gap by like almost a third. So we're at 20 right now. We are at 26,800. So everybody who subscribes, we just need another 200 more. There's 1,500 people in here right now. I'm pretty sure there's one or two of you that have not subscribed yet. Thank you, Susie Q. Heart-shaped Isle would love a book, but you can't mail to Australia. We can mail to Australia now, and we will mail to Australia. We have mailed to Australia in the past few weeks. So if somebody wants a book and they're from Australia, we might make it happen, but we got to get to that 27K. I can't, rules is rules. We give out one every 1,000, but because we're in the live and we're so close, it's 3 tonight. Bobblehead, book,
bracelet,
and bracelet. The 3 B's. Is that okay? Marc, as a technical person, did you figure out how the e-meter worked? Could you fool it? It's not really. It's a weird thing. You can fool it with your body movements, but it's hard to do that without the person who's counseling you see that you're doing that part. And also, they have like some check questions, like when you do a session or a counseling interview, auditing session, when you're done, sometimes they ask you, have you manipulated the e-meter? Have you tried to trick the e-meter? Have you
gotten away with something that you should have disclosed?
Yeah. So for me, and this is just for me, I can't say for everybody else, but in the late 1980s, I went to a Depeche Mode concert that was at the Rose Bowl, and I sat front row center for this concert. And I want to say, if I listened, they made a live album out of that single concert, and every time I hear any song from that album, I get goosebumps, I get goose pimples. And so whenever I would get interrogated, or the few times that I actually ended up on an e-meter, if it wasn't going my way, I would just think about that concert, and the needle would do like the best possible thing it could do. It means they have to end the session right there because you're doing so good that they have to stop. Because if you keep going when you're doing good, things go sideways and things get messy. So whenever I'd think about that, I would just be done. They would say, oh, your needle's floating. And sometimes if you have when your needle's floating, that's like your get out of jail free card on the e-meter. That means everything's good. Everything's going well. And there's another one that's above that, and it's called the floating tone arm, which means your floating needle is so big that you have to use this other thing to get it back on the dial, and it goes so far past one way that you keep having to adjust the e-meter to be able to see this giant floating needle. And there was a few times where I went really hard into thinking about being back on that Depeche Mode, and I got floating TA.
Yeah, and then instead of saying your needle is floating, they say your tone arm is floating.
Yeah, that's pretty. When you do that, you're like, that was the first time that I realized that the Depeche Mode was helping me with the getting out of trouble in Scientology, is that when they said you have floating TA, I was like, oh, this is really, because I didn't know it was working. I just kind of hoped it was working. But when that happened, I was like, oh, this is definitely working.
You're like, I'm the man with the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. My boss would send me to go get interrogated because she thought I was being a criminal. And then I'd come back and she'd be like, you got a sec check? And I'd be like, yep. She goes, did anything come up? I said, nope. She would call them and be like, hey, what the hell? And they'd be like, yeah, no, he's good to go, man. He's clean. He's got nothing. And then she'd be like, I don't know what you're doing, man. H4M Street Team. What was the thinking about dragging people back that had blown? How did they explain why they had to capture escapees? Because there's a bunch of work to get done.
Well, also, too, I think that's different depending on whether you're the people there or the person. If it's the person escaping that you're bringing back, then it's, well, you're doing what's right for them because the only reason they're trying to escape is because they've done bad things and they got to come back and yada, yada, yada. From the people there, they're like, you got to cap that. Like, those people know stuff. They've witnessed things and you got to shut that down. So yeah. All the more reason and motivation to bring them back so that the real stories don't get out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Jefferson Hawkins. My first date with Catherine was on the bus from the base to Kirby. We didn't even hold hands. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm telling you, the bus ride, that 15-minute bus ride
being
is
alone
the only
in
way.
A dark bus was like the only alone time you might get.
Well, because otherwise, pretty much anybody could see there's something happening over there.
Yes.
But if you're on the bus and it's dark, it's midnight when you're going home. The lights are all out. It's dark, and yeah, that's like 15 minutes of prime time. You're going to be able to like talk to somebody. That was
one time, and then other than that, we all had our different apartments, we were living with multiple other female. I was living with multiple other females. You were living with multiple other males. So you would come and stand at my door, the door to my apartment. We would just talk. Yeah. And even then, do you remember we had knowledge reports written on us for being off schedule because we were talking late at night?
Yes. We got in trouble for talking too late because we should be sleeping.
Yeah. Because we were off schedule and other fish to fry.
Yeah. Hopper says, how long after your hot hand-holding on the bus did you get married? I know, weird question. Oh, it was a few months.
Yeah, so that was May. That was middle of May, and we got married on August 21st.
Yeah.
22nd.
Yeah.
We've always had this debate because our license was from Vegas, which we got after midnight on the 21st, and then we had a ceremony at Celebrity Center on the 22nd. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't a long time. I work fast, guys. I will say. So that's the other thing. There's like slim pickings. If you lock somebody up, you got to lock it up, because if you like, you pussyfoot around, you kind of take your time, that's going to get scooped up. You got to strike while the iron's hot, as they say.
And even then, remember, we were going to get married actually in July. We were going to do a double wedding with your sister and Tom Pope, which I'm really glad we didn't end up doing that. Thank God, dodged a bullet there. Woo.
Yes. How big was your debt when you left? Thank you, Harry Cherry. Claire's was 90. The total was like 158,000. 98 of which was from 96 or 98 was Claire, and then I think I had like I don't know, 50, 60 G's or something like they wanted out of me.
Yep.
Yeah. And we didn't pay one single red cent of that. Not one thin dime.
Yep.
I always love my SPTV, but Tuesday night Shoops are must-see SPTV.
Nice. Thank you.
They are. Destiny. We didn't have, some weeks we got like 30 or 40. This week was a little, thanks, Destiny. This week was a little light. on getting in Shoops. I don't know what's going on, if people are getting tired of them. If we don't see them, if you don't send them to us, we won't do it. But we had enough. And also, if you're sending in a picture that's just David Miscavige and you just distort the picture, that's not really a shoop. So if you sent one of those in and it was portrait, you're probably not going to see it.
But you know what we could do, if people lose interest on Shoops, we could do Top 10 Tuesday, like just random Scientology pictures.
Yeah, or we could just talk about. Originally I wanted to do tweets, so just have like tweets of the week. Nice. That's what I originally wanted to do. I don't even know how we ended up doing Shoops, but I think somebody sent in some Shoops, and I thought it was funny, and then the next thing you know, we had hundreds of them. But subscriber update: we're at 26,810, so we've had a whole whopping 10 in the last 10 minutes. We're definitely slowing down, but. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to happen for you guys on the bobblehead, the book, and the bracelet. Kay Valco says like has been clicked. Like's good. Like's good. Subscribe is better. Subscribe is better. Like is good. Subscribe is better.
Kay is a frequent flyer.
I know. And and I think that was earlier when somebody in the chat was like, hey, hit the like button while we're waiting.
Yeah.
Lily Rose, blown for good. We're waiting patiently for you and Claire Bear. Yeah, these are early comments before we ever showed up. Everyone click the like while we're waiting, please. There you go.
Yes, there
now
we go.
It's all coming together. Eat More Pizza Now says, I'm opening a bottle of wine for this episode, the most important episode ever, or until next week.
Nice.
Thank you, Eat More Pizza Now.
Yeah, every time I see that name, I'm like, yes, let's eat more pizza now.
I know. I got to eat less pizza now, not more pizza. I am a fatso when it comes to pizza.
Oh,
what was
goodness.
the best brawl you saw in Scientology? Marcus. The best one. Wow, I don't know about that. Do you know about any brawls that we saw?
Well,
it was always kind of scuffles. You know, somebody get into an argument, then they tussle, and somebody hit somebody. Okay, I figured it out. I'm done. You know which one?
I have an answer.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Let's see if
it
it's the
wasn't
same.
a brawl by definition, but it's most memorable to me because it's the first time that I saw Miscavige beat up on somebody, which was Ray Midoff, and he's like, Ray Midoff is twice the size of Miscavige, almost.
Well, he's like
and
6
remember,
foot something.
Miscavige would call him Gumby.
Yes.
And he was the highest, most technical person in Scientology. And we were in the parking lot at the Sandcastle in Clearwater, Florida. So out in public with like 20 people, and he just starts beating him up. It's pretty shocking. I was like, oh my gosh. It was, I had been in Religious Technology Center for maybe 3 days. I'm like, I done messed up. I thought things were going to be better now that I was in RTC. No, sir.
No, it doesn't work like that.
The grass on the other side is definitely not greener.
So the best one I saw, I don't consider anything that David Miscavige did good, so I'm not going to even. I just took him off the board right off the bat. But
yeah,
there was a girl at the Ent Base, a woman at the Ent Base named Annie Tidman, and Annie Tidman used to be married by a guy by the name of Jim Logan, and Jim Logan was a drummer in the Golden Era Musicians. And Annie Tidman worked in CMO Gold, which is the Commodore's messenger organization that's assigned to Golden Era Productions. So they run around and tell us to do stuff, and they get compliance reports, and they're kind of like an enforcement arm of management to get Golden Era Productions to do stuff. Anyway, Annie Tidman worked in CMO Gold, and she was in the F&E. What do they call
film and equipment?
Yeah,
film and equipment.
Do they call it a bureau in CMO? Or yeah,
they did.
So she was in the F&E bureau, which is
just a fancy word for a department, basically.
Yeah, which is L. Ron Hubbard's. They took care of L. Ron Hubbard's cameras, all his negatives, his film cameras, any kind of film equipment that L. Ron Hubbard took that had owned or did anything with was taken care of by the CMO called F&E. And there was another department which took care of all of L. Ron Hubbard's audio equipment, and that was called RAV, or Ron's Audio Visual.
Yep.
And
perhaps.
Yeah, Rav. So it was F&E and Rav. This girl named Annie, this woman named Annie worked in F&E, and she heard that this girl, it was a new girl that got to the base, and her name,
you can't make it up, folks.
Her name was Fallballa. Okay, that was her name, Fallballa, Fallballa, Fallballa. Okay, Fallballa. That was her name, and she was married to this guy named Wolfie, who we're talking about in the SP files that are coming out. I think it comes out on Thursday.
Yes, you said that. Yeah.
And the SP file that we're talking about on Thursday that's coming out has a guy named Wolfie Frank, who was a spy after he escaped. Well, he used to be married to this Fabala gal, and Annie found out that Fabala may or may not have been flirting a little with Jim Logan, her husband. So at the time, her name was Annie Logan, and Annie Logan worked in this place. It was right near where all the video editing facilities were. And this Fabala gal is walking down the sidewalk near there. And Annie Tidman, I was right there. Annie Tidman just comes out of nowhere. And Fabala's there. And she just clocks Fabala. And Fabala had this shiner. And Annie Logan, or Annie Tidman now, or at the time, rest in peace, Annie. Annie passed away from, I think, cancer or something like that.
Yeah. And this is the same Annie that used to be married to Pat Broker that was supposed to take over Scientology, by the way.
She used to be Annie Broker, yeah. Before she was Annie Logan, before she was Annie Tidman.
Yep.
Or she was Annie Tidman to start with or something. I don't know.
Yep.
So many, again, maiden names, please. Anyway, because Annie Tidman was in CMO, a little bit complicated when a CMO person punches a Golden Era person.
That's not a situation where you fight back.
Yeah, the Golden Era Productions person, no matter what they do, you're not allowed to hit a messenger, because a messenger is considered L. Ron Hubbard, because they have the authority of Hubbard.
Yeah. And are acting on his behalf. So you have to treat them as you would treat L. Ron Hubbard.
Even though he had already been dead for a few years by the time this happens.
I mean, come on now, don't state the obvious. That just kills my story.
But regardless, you're not allowed to really mess with a CMO person if you're below CMO. And Golden Era Productions was below the CMO. So, I think Fabala just got a shiner. And, she didn't flirt with Annie's husband after that, as far as I know. That was that's the word on the street. Thank you, Marcus. Whoa, what happened? This one. What do you think Kakatogi Road? I think some of these people are just making up names because they know that I just can't pronounce random weirdo things. Kakatogi Road says, Mark, what do you think the typical punishment would have been had you been caught in the midst of a solo 2D assist? First of all, the solo 2D assist, I'd never heard of that until Aaron said it. I don't even know that that's a thing.
My brain was malfunctioning during yesterday's stream.
I was like, what is he talking? I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah. I never really heard about anybody getting punished for doing that, for like pleasing themselves. I never really heard about, besides that one guy that said he admitted to doing it 40 times a day, which was obviously, that's complete and utter nonsense. I'm not sure the human body can even work that way. What is that? There's math involved, but 40 into a day, that's like twice an hour for 24 hours. That's too many times.
Yeah. The typical punishment would definitely be dealing with it in ethics, reading the Hubbard references about it. There's references about why that's a bad thing, supposedly.
But I don't think you'd really get in trouble. You might kind of get your hand slapped, like, "Hey, don't do that."
Yep.
Pamela Backshell, greetings from Yorkshire, UK. Did DM really break his leg playing basketball? Yeah, with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. David Miscavige broke his leg in a small man's basketball league. True facts. Andy Nolce comment was a bad joke. Yeah, see, I was like, Scott,
it's okay. I said that. I said it was probably.
I was like, this is
it's
like,
all good.
You paid for that, Scott?
We will keep good records, and we'll say what we can when we can. There you
go. Yeah. When it's all over, we'll tell you all the deets when it's all done and said. Do ex-Scientologists have a hard time being in relationships with non-Scientologists?
So I think that's a great question, because we have a bunch of friends who, unfortunately, when they escaped, their marriage didn't survive. And I have great respect for the non-Scientologists that can kind of weather that storm, because it is a storm. I mean, we have our own issues because we know, but sometimes we can't stop talking about it. But people that can find understanding with and have a relationship with ex versus non, it's special skills right there.
Yeah, but we do know people that have great marriages, that one of them was an ex and one of them's not. So it's just like anything. Everybody's different. And once you add people, it's like, issues plus issues together equals
how you
different
work through
issues.
that is a challenge. But
thanks, Elsie. That's a good question. Here we go. Dylan Chatterton. Where did this word Shoops come from? It's an anonymous, like a 4chan, probably 4chan or some kind of anonymous, some Chan message board. I'm pretty sure that's where it came. It's just a funny word for Photoshop, Shoops. I'm like terminally online and I work with Photoshop, but I've never heard it outside of Marc saying it. What does it mean exactly? Yeah, it's just a funny name for a Photoshop. It's usually has some sort of comedy or parody involved and a Photoshop. So that's my understanding of it. But yeah, you could Google Shoop. It's certainly, I didn't make it up. SoCal Chuck, where's L. Ron's ashes? Where are they located? Yeah, it's a great question. I'd assume that they have them at the Church of Spiritual Technology or RTC, or somebody somewhere might have a urn of him. Modestly priced urn. Yes. That's a good question. I've never heard of that. I've never heard where they've put him. I do know that he was cremated, but I'm not sure.
That might be a challenge, because how can you have his ashes and yet say he's coming back? That's a bit of a contradiction right there.
Well, I mean, also...
we'll have to ask maybe Marc or Jeff or somebody who was around, or Mike even might know the answer to that. I don't know.
Well, the fact that they cremated him and they're putting his fuddy-duddy clothes out, like tonight, somebody at the Imp base is putting L. Ron Hubbard's clothes from his last life out on a bed, as if he comes back, he's got something to wear. But it's from his clothes from 1986, when he was a big fat fuddy-duddy, not now that he's like in his 30s or something. Anyway, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Actually, would he be in his 30s? I think he'd be in his late 20s. 86.
Yep.
No, yeah, he'd be in his 30s. Yeah. Thanks, SoCal Chuck. Old Nan, thank you. Super chat, Old Nan. Karen, about you. Thank you. Super chat, thank you. Valerie Bulljack. Creating a special language is a very effective way of creating a sense of superiority within a group. It was a psyops move by LRH. Yeah, a lot of cults do that. That is, I found, now that I've left a cult, I've found that a lot of cults have their own little kind of tricky little secret language.
Yeah.
And that is a common kind of thread. And yeah, you're right, Valerie. That's a psyops move by LRH.
Yep.
Definitely. Panko for Claire's giveaway fund. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Panko.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Panko.
We're at okay, guys, sub update. We're at 26,825. So we still got to do another 175. I don't know, guys. By the time we get to
like
the
1750 in the chat.
I know, but they got to hit subscribe. If they don't hit subscribe, we can't. It's going up, but it's not going up. I don't know if we're going to make 27K. So if anybody had your hopes up, you did OSA subscribe yet? Good one, Karen or Corinne. Thank you. I just finished your book.
They have.
OSA have subscribed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They want those notifications. They got to keep up with all of our
That's true.
content.
You know what? That's a good point. They need to
Yeah.
be notified. Of course, they create these sock accounts. So, Allison or Stacy or any of you guys, they would make one that's just called, Brenda, and then Brenda's the one. I just finished your book. So good. I almost cried at the end. I definitely teared up. Well, thank you, Allison. I didn't want you to cry. Oh, when Claire gets out. Yeah, when Claire gets out, that you could cry for that. Or you could tear up.
I cried when I read that. I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But you want to know what's crazy? So the other day, someone was asking in our lives what our kids thought about, our stories and all that. Well, today, our oldest son texted me and he's like, hey, so I'm doing a new book project. Do you think I could read Dad's book for this? And I was like, sure. What's
Which
it
one?
about?
Who's doing that? The middle or the oldest?
The oldest.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
I said,
so
sure,
crazy.
I'm sure that would be fine. And I said, well, what's the topic? Like, what's the theme? And he's like, it's stories about surviving. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a solid choice right there.
Wow, that's crazy. Can you imagine if you did a book report and then they're like, oh yeah, my dad wrote the book.
Yeah, well, that was the best part. He said, okay, I'm going to ask the teacher about it. And he was like, yeah, the teacher was very interested. And I said, well, we'll give her a copy of the book. And he was like, yeah, she really wants a copy of the book.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's a good story.
It is.
Watched your episode on the Aftermath yesterday. Well, thank you, John, the vague one. No question, just a comment. Oh, here we go. Here's a question. Kendalinks. Mark, as a cracker connoisseur, do you have a favorite brand? First of all, I'm not a big cracker guy. Okay, that being said, I do like club crackers, but I don't really eat them because I eat a lot, and I'm not supposed to eat a lot because I'm kind of big. So I try not. And the first things that kind of go out are pizza, bread, crackers, anything like that are the kind of things I cut.
Carbs and sugar.
Yeah, my two favorite things in the whole world are the things I'm not supposed to eat. But what are those garlic salt crackers that we get? Those ones that come in those clear packages?
The fire hook or something like that.
Yeah, I like those with a little bit of cheese or a little bit of turkey or a little bit of.
Yeah, there's those garlic and thyme ones that you like. Yeah,
that's it. Garlic and thyme. I think they're called fire hook. Those are my favorite. And they're really thin and they're not really that tasty, but I kind of feel like I'm not doing so bad with those. Lily, hey guys. Claire, just heard the news on Aaron's channel. Can't wait to see you crush it as an expert witness. Yep. Well, there you go. Hopefully she does. Not a sheeple. Last night's show was hilarious. You guys make me look forward to every upcoming episode. I keep... it just says, keep up the fantastic work. Heart, heart, heart. Also, need a Dirty Cracker Liquor t-shirt. Yeah, if we ever get these websites finished up, we'll have those. But they're on the way. They're coming soon.
They are coming soon. Bear with us.
Thank you, Not a Sheeple. Robert King. Hubbard really talks out of both sides of his mouth. The way to happiness, to disconnect from your loved ones. If that's not crazy. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, no. The second you start looking those contradictions at every turn.
Yeah.
Communication is a universal solvent. Don't talk to your family ever again. It goes on and on and on.
Thank you, Robert. We appreciate it. Hella Rage. Just finished reading your book, Mark. Amazing. Thank you, Hella Rage. I tell people, a lot of people really do find the book comedic or has funny stories in it. And if you're looking for like a really well polished, well written, proper English book, my book's not the book for you. My book is a bunch of stories about what happened to me over about a 20-year period, working and living in Scientology. And and there are some really funny stories in there. That even if you don't have any interest about Scientology, they're still funny. But a lot of people like it. So I'm happy. I'm happy that it's helped some people, and Scientologists particularly. If they read it and they believe what's in there, then they will leave Scientology, almost one for one. I don't know of any that have read it and not leave, because I don't hear from them. So I only have the people that left.
Wouldn't that be funny to have somebody blow or escape and the foundation helps them, and they would be like, oh, I read your book 10 years ago, and then I got sent to the Rehabilitation Project Force, and I should have just gotten out of there. Or what about OSA even? They read your book before practically anybody. Remember in our deposition in the lawsuit, we were shocked because when we first released the book, they had a signed copy of your book.
Which we didn't really give out signed copies a lot in the very beginning.
I think we did the first 1,000 were signed copies, or maybe even the first 500 only. Yeah. And then after that, we stopped.
Yeah, for years.
They had one of the signed copies that they put into
evidence.
They admitted it into evidence in our lawsuit. Yeah. So there you go.
Chad B. While renovating the Freewinds for the maiden voyage of the Freewinds, a few of us Reno guys, Danny Keogh was one of us. Wow. We wrote SS Minnow on a few sheets and covered the Freewind sign. That's hilarious. Danny Keogh was a guy. He grew up in Scientology. He went to Delphi. The Scientology school that was in Oregon. And he was dating my teacher when I went to Delphi, Los Angeles. And her name was Eve Darling, and she just happened to be the very first graduate of Delphi, and she became a teacher in Delphi, Los Angeles after she graduated from Delphi, Oregon. And she was dating Danny Keogh, and she also was very good friends with Lisa Marie Presley. And I want to say she actually, when Lisa Marie Presley got married to Michael Jackson, my teacher, Eve Darling, she was the one who was the witness on the marriage certificate to the marriage between Lisa Marie Presley and Danny Keogh. But now Danny Keogh was married to Lisa Marie Presley first, and Danny's brother was married to my teacher, Eve Darling. And his name was, it was another Keogh, obviously. Danny Keogh and Michael Keogh. I can't remember his name right now. Another Keogh. But Danny Keogh was also in a band with Thad Correa, and Thad Correa was in a band with my dad, who was a bass player in Los Angeles. Scientology is so. That's how you know Scientology is small. Somebody mentions a guy in the comments. I know his wife. I know his brother, his sister-in-law, his bandmates. I know everything about this dude.
Here's another fun fact. So everybody has a folder where all their counseling records are stored. But for celebrities in Scientology, they change the names of. So it wouldn't say Claire Headley on the PC folder, on that folder where all the counseling records. So Lisa Marie Presley was Norma Darling. That's what was on her folders.
Yeah, Norma Darling. I remember that. That was her code
And that
name.
was because they didn't want anybody to be stealing celebrity counseling folders. So
or even peeking in them. So if Norma Darling.
Tom Cruise, John Travolta, all those people had other names on their actual counseling folders.
Yeah, and that wasn't by accident that they were doing that. That's because Scientologists had looked in the folders before, so they had to figure out a system for the celebrities. Yep. Thank you, Chad. That was a great one. There was another guy I wanted to mention, Chad. So if any guys, if Chad, if you know of any other guys that are exes that want to tell us other people that were there, or other people that were with Danny, or any stories or something like that, email us. We'd love to hear about that. Or you can do another super chat. Let us know in the chats. If there's other people that are ex-Scientologists out there that want to pipe in, or they have a little interesting tidbit or something, get in the comments. Let us know. Even though we don't always answer every single comment that comes up in the live, we try to do all the super chats, and we try to do some non-super chats. But Claire and I both go through the comments after the videos are up, and we answer questions in the comments section all the time.
Yep.
I probably answer 10 or 15 questions a day at least. And if you have a question that you asked and didn't get answered, if you read through the comments, sometimes somebody else has already answered it. I won't answer all of the same ones, but I'll answer one of them and you can see what they are in there. Hey guys, I love hearing your stories. You both referenced the dates you left the Sea Org. Ever celebrate the anniversary of your freedom? Thanks.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
We
celebrate the dates we got out of there. And we also, since we never got to celebrate our anniversary, our wedding anniversary in the first 13 years, now we changed it to, we try to celebrate for the whole month.
Yeah, we do
make up for lost time.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to a restaurant and be like, yep, we're here to celebrate our anniversary. It's anniversary month.
Yeah. Melissa Rib, considering that fraternizing was frowned upon at the Ent Base and you were in different departments at different levels, how did you two manage to become a couple? Well, when Claire was first at the Ent Base, I had already been there for a few years, and she was in Golden Era Productions and I was in Golden Era Productions. So we were at the same level. I was just a worker and she was a worker. So neither one, I wasn't an executive, she wasn't an executive. And this was in 1992. We were both very young newbies. I was 19. She was 17 when we got married.
Yep.
And that was in 92. So in 93, I got promoted to an executive, a big promotion. I went from kind of to the very bottom, almost to the very top in one move. I was in the executive division, and the only person that was higher than me was the commanding officer, and this person called the LRH communicator. Every organization has an LRH communicator, and their job is to keep their organization following L. Ron Hubbard policy. And my boss was the LRH communicator. And then Claire got promoted in 1995.
Yeah, the first time was 1994. Then when
you got promoted out of Golden Era
Religious Technology Center was March 1996.
Okay, so
yeah, and that was the beginning of a very huge discrepancy in our relationship in terms of position.
For 4 years, we worked in the same organization, but for but in 1995, I was transferred to be the shoot crew chief, to be over the film team, and then I was just gone all the time. I was never at the Ent Base. Very rarely, like maybe a few days a week at best. Sometimes not even for weeks at a time. And then in 1995, I also went to Denmark for many months.
Yeah, and then you were in Clearwater for a bunch of time.
Yeah, then I was in Clearwater for a bunch of time. Then I was in the shoot team, and I was on the shoot team from 1995 till about 2000. So during that whole time, I was all over the place. But in 1996, Claire went to RTC, and she was gone for a year or two in Florida, or months, not a year, but many, many months of
almost
1996. Yeah, almost a year. It was
March 96 until... when I finally arrived back to the base was February 1997.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so, and then from 97...
And that was only because of Shelley Miscavige, which we'll tell that story in my Shelley series upcoming.
Yeah, it's because I was making all kinds of problems for Shelley and Dave, and I was like, if you guys want me to be here, you better get that wife of mine back up here. Anyway, but from 1997 till 2004, it wasn't a lot of, we're talking about hours per week that we saw each other. Right?
Yeah.
Hours per week.
Yeah, maybe. If we were lucky. Some weeks we didn't even.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was measured in hours or minutes that we saw each other in a week. And then sometimes... For a few years, I wasn't allowed to go home. So I was sleeping under my desk or in a closet or under the stairs or above the hallway so I didn't see Claire sometimes for months.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't go to meals, I couldn't go to meals, and I couldn't go home. So those are the only times we would see each other. So I just didn't see her. Sometimes, sometimes, what did I used to do when I'd see you? Wasn't there we had a secret handshake? Like a look or something. We did something.
Yeah, I would walk out of the tunnel and you'd be looking, and I'm like, what the heck? How did you know I was coming?
Yeah, but we might see each other on the property. But we weren't allowed to, there's no PDA allowed at the, if she's in RTC and I'm in gold, during the day, during daylight, there's no touching or hugging or holding hands or
you'd get reported for that shit in a hot minute.
Yeah. Okay, just bought a book. Ghost Girl 726. Just bought a book, Bobblehead and Bracelet. Can't wait. When does the new merchandise come out? Love the show. Keep it up. The new merchandise, we're farming out this website to some other people. So when those website people are done, we're gonna tell you guys.
You'll
about
be the
it.
first to know.
We'll
do a show wearing our new merch, and we'll be like, "Here's the store, and it's live." So
yes,
there you go.
We do have a lot of good stuff. It's high quality too. All the samples and all the tests we've done have been really, really nice. So I think people will like it, and it'll go towards. We're gonna have some stuff on the SP shop, and then we're gonna have some of our own stuff. So there'll be tons of stuff if you want to support the Aftermath Foundation. And then there'll be silly stuff like the dirty cracker lickers and cups and shirts and bumper stickers and whatever. Thank you, Ghost Girl. And here we go. Please know we all stand behind you. I pray, if that's okay. Yeah, I don't care. Absolutely. That you will speak the grace you always demonstrate, and we know your testimony will be true. Yeah, Claire's pretty good at that kind of stuff. So hopefully this goes well and we don't muck anything up. Emily Case, has anyone ever successfully taken out a restraining order against the church and their PIs? That's a good question.
That's a solid question.
I don't know. I don't know about restraining orders, because that's kind of a personal thing. I don't know if you could do that against an organization. I know you can do it against a person.
You can. I would say let's hold on that question and discuss that in a few months.
Oh my goodness.
How's that for a good no answer?
Nice. Ghost Girl, again, Mark, I wrote a treatment and a short script for Operation Snow White. You in? We could film it and put it on YouTube maybe. I don't know what studio would actually fund it because of Tom Cruise's influence in Hollywood. Yeah, I don't know, Ghost Girl. I would do it in a second. I think
SPTV Productions, here we come.
Yeah, I think Operation, if anybody who doesn't know, Operation Snow White is something Scientology, that is an operation that Scientology ran for many, many years, and they perpetrated the largest infiltration of the United States government in its history. Wasn't China, wasn't Russia, wasn't the Soviet Union. Scientology was convicted of the largest infiltration into the United States government in its history. And you can look that up. Just Google Operation Snow White. I'm pretty sure Wikipedia has a good thing on it, and there's all kinds of documents, and you can actually find the documents from Scientology on the internet that are called Operation Snow White, and how they basically were trying to get all of the government files on Scientology, the bad stuff taken out and replaced with good stuff. So people would be like, pull up the file we've got on that Hubbard, and then you'd go and it'd be like, L. Ron Hubbard was a famed film director, instead of like, oh, he was busted for this and he was busted for that. And anyway, I love it. I think it's a great idea. I've got too much going on right now for me to do it, but yeah, more power to anybody who wants to do that. Oravides or Oravid finally figured out how to do this.
Nice.
Well,
yay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate it. William Tubbs says, my wife and my HOA, Arch Review Committee, are now both subscribers of Plum Forget. Karen, the ARC violation lady, says, thank you.
Nice. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you, William. Yes. I appreciate it. He got the HOA Review Committee. That's solid. Yeah,
yes.
Ooh, we're at, is that 150 left? What's 850?
Yep.
We got 150 left, guys. We could possibly still do this. I was thinking we wouldn't do it, but there's 1,800 people.
If we do it live, we should give away all those things on the live.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we do it, we're going to award and give them away in the live. We're going to say, Brenda, you got one. Timmy, we're going to say right in here, you're the winner.
Yeah.
But we need 150 more. We're 26,850, folks. 26,850. It's pretty good. 150 doesn't seem like a lot.
No.
If people hit the subscribe button, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. 150 left. We could do it. Island Lady says, Claire, why didn't you leave earlier? Would you have ever left if Marc hadn't left?
That's a great question. I'll cover that in my book, which I am now working on. Yay! I don't know that I would have ever left if Marc didn't. That's kind of a hypothetical that is difficult.
She wouldn't have. There's no way. A
difficult path to go down. But the main reason I waited is because I was told by Jenny Linson 2 days after Marc escaped that David Miscavige had ordered that Marc be brought back. And so I truly thought if I escaped, I had this vision in my mind that we'd be like passing on Highway 79, like I'm escaping and they've got him locked up and they're bringing him back. I'm like, I'll never see him again either. So I had to kind of just bide my time, and that was an interesting, worst few weeks of my life right there. There you go.
Yeah, but I knew if I could get a hold of her, I could get her out. And I got a hold of her, and I got her out. So,
no, boom. I got a hold of you.
Tomato. I don't have 3 B's, but I have 2 boos. B's comic relief. I don't have 2 B's, but I have
3 B's, but I have
2 boo. Bees, comic relief. I get it. I get what she's saying. Oh my goodness. Everyone's a comedian here. Thank you, Kitty and Lou. Mm-hmm. Okay. Michelle Lynn, what do you think Scientology would be like if the brokers kept control? By the way, seeing Depeche Mode in October. Nice. Good job, Michelle.
Yes.
I wish those tickets weren't so darn expensive.
Oh my goodness.
I think it could be different. If the brokers took over, it's kind of like woulda, coulda, shoulda. Who knows what it would have been like. I think it would have been different.
It would have been different, but
I wouldn't have ended up at the Imp base if they did that, because the only reason that I ended up at the headquarters and the only reason I ended up at in the Sea Org was because David Miscavige was beating on people to get people to fix certain things. And that is how I ended up there, and that's how I met Claire, and that's how we escaped, and that's how. So I'm kind of like, well, I don't think I would change it if I did now, knowing what I know now. I always say the only thing I would do differently if I could go back in time was I just write down some lottery numbers over the years and just take care of that.
Our respective paths led us to here today and made us who we are. So There you go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Marilyn. Hey, Marc and Claire, there's 2 Xenus and a Duke of Chug on their way to you. By the way, thanks for explaining the Duke of Chug. The more I find out, the funnier and more bizarre the story gets. Oh yeah, and I had it wrong because I never read the Duke of Chug thing, but somebody who did messaged me. So the Duke of Chug was somebody who got caught by the guy who set up the computer system to catch people. The Duke of Chug was a tax
scamming.
He was a scammer and an embezzler and a tax
didn't he
dodger.
Run like 4 quadrillion people and and the computer caught him.
Yeah, the computer was how he got caught. And so the story that L. Ron Hubbard tells, the Duke of Chug was a victim of the computer. And it was L. Ron Hubbard was explaining how if you just computerize the police and the law system and all this other stuff, then the computer will just smoke out the criminals. And that's what the Sea organization has. And this system is just a nightmare. It is literally like Hal from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yes.
That's how their computer system is like, nope, you got to report. You didn't do it. Nope.
Yeah.
You got to report. You didn't do it. Nope. You're just like, what? Do you guys stop printing out these reports on me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Marilyn. That's awesome. I can't wait to see another outfit. I'm going to have a whole collection. Anybody who doesn't know, Marilyn makes these. We put the link. I'll have to remember to put it in there again. But she has like a little, Facebook store where she sells little crochet things. She doesn't only sell silly bobble render outfits. She also makes all kinds of other things. You know, her shop could be like a one-stop shop. If you're buying stuff for grandchildren, or, you know, you just buy knickknacks or something like that, you like little crocheted things, she's got all kinds of stuff. You could take care of a whole bunch of people on your list in her store.
Yeah, totally. And so of those 2 Xenu outfits that she sent to us, one of them already is going to be bestowed on somebody I've picked. But the other, I was thinking we could make it for one of our future, once we receive it, obviously, it could be one of our Bobble Pick winner rewards or something. Yeah, it's going to be a giveaway that we're going to be doing once we have it in hand. So
perfect.
Fun stuff ahead.
Marc Fisher's back in here again.
Yay.
If anybody missed it, Claire did 2 or 3 interviews with Marc on the channel.
2 so far.
There's 2 interviews up with Marc Fisher. Marc Fisher used to work in RTC with David Miscavige, and Claire did 2 interviews with him that are amazing. Julie, that was his wife, Julie Fisher.
She was
Julie Fisher.
Catano.
Yeah, and then she was the sister of Kevin Catano, Julie Catano. Julie and I got married about 30 days after first getting together. Move fast or RPF, LOL.
Yes,
that's a good point, Marc. So that is another point. If you do have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you're not married, they know the chances are sooner or later you're going to do something you should be doing if you're married in the Sea Org. So it is kind of like a race against time to get married before you do that thing so that you don't end up on the RPF.
Do you want to know what's funny that I learned recently? Fun fact. David Miscavige and Shelley Miscavige were dating for 2 years before they got married.
What? Oh, know.
I know, right? I'm just saying it's something that I learned recently because I've, as you know, Marc, I worked very, very closely with Shelley for 8 years. I knew her for 13, 14 years. But I realized I didn't really know her life story, so I've been digging into that and finding out all kinds of fascinating information.
Wow, that is I cannot. That makes so much sense now. David Miscavige, of all people, was fascinated with couples.
Yes.
And would almost, and if no one else did, he would be the one to bust them himself. He would track down these couples. He would say like, hey, he'd be like, oh, these 2 are dating. He'd call them up to his office and he'd ask the girl, have you guys gone out 2D? And then the girl would say, yes, sir. I'm so sorry. He'd be like, okay, fine, go back to post. And then he'd bring the husband and be like, have you guys gone out 2D? Out 2D means you've had relations before you get married. And then the husband, this happened. It actually happened to a guy that we're going to talk about in the Spy Files. He's also in it. His name is Adam Parcell. Mm-hmm. Him and his girlfriend then became wife, Corey Purcell. They did the deed before they got married. Adam Parcell denied having done it, and the girl admitted to it. He told the girl, just go back to post, you're fine. And then the guy, Adam, said, no, we didn't. He goes, your wife already told me you did. You're going to the RPF. And he went to the RPF. And then after he got off the RPF and got back on post at the base, they got married, and then he got kicked off the base. And then he's a real estate agent in San Francisco.
Yep.
Wow. Cassie. Thank you. Cassie. I always say Casey. She always says Cassie. Yep. Cassie. I just wanted to say thank you for being you. Not sure if you realize it, but you both bring some light into the darkness some of us may be going through. You're more than just XI. Your energy, care, and love shine through. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We really
appreciate that. We are grateful to everyone here. This is an amazing community of people, and we're just glad to play a part in all this.
We love you, dirty cracker lickers and Claire Bears. That is what we finalized, guys, just in case anybody's wondering. It was a unanimous. It's cracker lickers and Claire Bears. Those are the, whatever you call yourselves, the followers of a YouTube channel. It's dirty cracker lickers and Care Bears. And we will have merch to celebrate this. Thank you. Is that Reese or Ressie? See, it's just
not sure. Yeah,
there's no rules anymore. Reese. You can just put letters. You can just make any words you want, put them together.
Reese.
Here's Bison 5360. All the way up to 60 were taken, so we got this one. Bison 5360.
Oh, yes.
I hope
the answer
you got
to this
my
is yes.
Houston Mission bobblehead.
Stay tuned in the episode.
Yes, we are going to show the Houston Mission bobblehead.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Bison. We're gonna we'll get to it. What time is it?
Yes.
What are we at? Well, we're going to do it
7:30.
very soon. No more super chats, no more questions. When I'm done with this, we're going to show the bobbleheads and the pics. And then we are at 26,870. We got 130 subscribers. If we can get 130 more subscribers before we finish those pictures, we're giving away some stuff. I don't want to do one of these ones where we just hang around and be like, okay, I just got 5 more. Only 67 more.
That feels far too stat pushy, like as if we're.
Yeah.
It's like
if you were in the Sea Org, we would.
It's 1:53 p.m.
If we were in the Sea Org, we would run that clock into the 27. We would not stop until that clock hit 27,000. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you're in the Sea Org and you need another, it's like we're gonna stay up until we get it. That's how it is. I tried to ask this yesterday, and I don't know if it got answered, but how did Marc afford any concert shows or DM albums only making $50 a week? I'm going to have to sell my liver for this DM show. Well, I will tell you, Ivana Tinkle, I spent every spare cent I had on Depeche Mode stuff. I never tried not to buy like snacks, and I spent money on cigarettes and Depeche Mode stuff. And sometimes I, bought some ramen or bought some stuff from the stores, but I tried to save as much of my money as I could. And to tell you the truth, my collection that I had, most of it was before I joined the Sea organization. I did make a lot of money as a kid selling toy airplane gliders all over the United States in malls instead of going to school. And so I had a bunch of money that I bought Depeche Mode stuff with that. But after I left the Sea Org, I did manage to get, and that's a hilarious thing, they did this inventory of all of our stuff. It was the inventory, I want to say it was over 50 pages of all of our stuff. And they did an inventory. It was a single space, like this. And it said, Depeche Mode, this album. Depeche Mode, this album. Depeche Mode, album. Depeche Mode. And then it was like singles. And then it was like, after pages and pages and pages of the Depeche Mode inventory, they're just like one box, miscellaneous Depeche Mode stuff. But since we escaped, my collection has grown exponentially. I have spent way too much money on stuff, including these upcoming concerts. Thank you, Ivana. Yeah, you will have to sell your liver, or you could sell a kidney. I would keep the liver, and I would go with a kidney because you got 2 of those, and certainly one of them is certain, likely going to end up being extra.
Were there any Depeche Mode concerts in the time that you were in the Sea Org?
Oh yeah, there were. The best one was they had a in 1990. I was working in Los Angeles. At the Hollywood Guarantee Building. It's at 6331 Hollywood Boulevard. And Depeche Mode were coming to Hollywood, and they were going to go to a warehouse record store and sign some stuff. And I had brought all my records and everything into work. And I was going to try to go down there and get my stuff signed. And then they said on the radio, I was secretly listening and keeping track of everything that's going on. And they said they were only going to sign one thing. And I was like, ugh. Okay, so I got to pick one thing and I'll go down there. And when they did this, there was a riot. Like, they thought like 150 people were going to show up to get their stuff signed, and like 17,000 people showed up. And it was in Beverly Hills. It was right next to the Beverly Center. And there was no way you could get anywhere. Traffic was, I never even could get there. I literally couldn't even get to where it was because traffic was all messed up and everything. There was police everywhere. So, and by the time I would have gotten there, they were already rushed out of there because there were so many people that the glass windows of the store were like bowing in, and it was gonna be a big disaster. So, there was that in 1990. They played Dodger Stadium. There was a whole bunch of concerts we missed. It was 15 years. They were putting out an album and touring almost every single year.
Yeah.
That we were there, either having new stuff out or doing a tour. So, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's a bummer I missed it, but we're making up for lost time. Quick wedding, no 2D solo assist. Sorry, Claire. Danny, thank you for that.
I'm never going to live that down.
Amy PH.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Amy. Goldie, can you help us get Claire's attention? I'm trying to buy Jen Chi a bracelet or a bobblehead, but need to know how they don't have to give me their address.
Jen Chi, shoot me an email with your address, and Erica M, shoot me an email. And once I have the address, then you can place the order. I'll let you know that I have the address. We've done this before a few times.
Yeah. So when people in the comments want to give other people in the comments stuff, Claire is the great organizer of such transactions. And every email that comes to the channel, if you go to the YouTube channel on a computer, you go to the About page, it's down, like if it's on the right, it's on the down on the left hand side area of the bottom of the About page. It says business purpose. You should click on that and you can send us an email, and all those emails go to Claire.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Erica. We'll do it.
Goldie, message me.
No more super chats. If guys are doing super chats, it's cutoff time. We got to we got to get to the pictures. We got to get to the Shoops and the bobble picks. Yep. And we got to award the people that won those too. 26,880. We got 120 more subscribers, you guys.
Nice.
Sue Allen, thanks for all you do. I admire both of you so much. All the best to you. Thank you, Sue. We appreciate it.
Sue.
W. Churchill, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that. We appreciate our super sticker, whatever they call it. Me Time, DIY with Erica. Google says about LRH ashes, burial, cremated, ashes scattered at sea, specifically ashes scattered in the Pacific. There you go. That makes sense.
Yep, totally.
They probably said that at the time, or it was reported at the time. I mean, how old was I? I think I was like 12 or 13.
I was 11.
Yeah, I was a little kid. I was running around. They announced, the LRH death announcement took place at the Palladium in Hollywood. And I was there at that event, and I was running around the lobby with all the other kids who had no idea what was going on. Dave says, can you see your needle, or can the auditor lie? Question 2, where or what did you do on first date? Walk the compound, make some ramen noodles, LOL. Okay, well, first, you cannot see the needle. Only your counselor can see the needle. And if you're really sneaky like me, if you get a counselor that's got glasses, you could look in their glasses and you can see the needle. Okay, saying. That's a hack. So all you Scientologists out there, if your auditor's got glasses, you're welcome. You're welcome for that. Anyway, what did we do on our first date? Now, this is a very tricky question because Claire and I were not dating, but we did have a date. And this is a funny story because there was another guy. His name was Darius. And Darius has since escaped the Sea Org as well. And he lives in the real world, but he's still a Scientologist because he wants to talk to his mom and his dad.
Yep.
And what other family are in Scientology. But Darius was a little bit of a player at the Imp base. He was his dad was an RTC, and his mom was a very famous Sea Org member, and his dad was also a famous Sea Org member. And he had a storied childhood, and, he got to hang out with Scientology celebrities and, whatever. His dad was in RTC, so they had money. So he had money, and he always had cool clothes and a motorcycle and all kinds of stuff. But Darius also used to go to Delphi, where I went. So I knew him from there. And so we were friends at the Ent base. And he told me that he was going to go after Claire. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was dating some other girl. And
I didn't know that part.
Kiva?
No, I didn't know the part that he said he was gonna go after me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was whatever. Anyway, so he did. And Darius had a motorcycle. He had all kinds. There's no way I could compete with him. So I was like, whatever, do your thing. And sure enough, I saw Claire riding on the back of his motorcycle one day at lunchtime, driving around the property. And I was like, oh, he's making his move. And I wasn't wasn't doing anything with Claire. And, but he wiped out on that motorcycle with Claire on the back. That didn't do.
Ouch.
That didn't seal the deal there, babe. If you're going to give a girl a ride on a motorcycle and show off, don't crash the motorcycle. That's just my 2 cents. Anyway, but she had to not go out with Darius. The girl that I was kind of having a thing with, she got assigned to the RPF for something else completely different by the time before we had a chance to get in trouble. And we probably should have gotten in trouble, but we didn't. And then later on, Claire and I, all that, you heard about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Date.
Oh, so the first date.
Yeah.
So
which it wasn't a date.
Well, it kind of was, but either way, Claire came to my room and was looking for Darius.
I wasn't. No, my roommate and I. It was New Year's Day.
Claire and her friend.
We had a few hours off, and we were not allowed to go into town by ourselves. And my friend, my roommate Tammy, wanted to go see a movie, and she was the one that was hot for Darius. So she was like, "I know an idea. Let's go over to Darius's apartment and get him to walk with us to the movie theater so we can watch a movie." We go to the apartment, and you answered the door, and you're like, "I'll go with you."
Yeah. Now I want to say, it was Star Trek 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I think you're right, though. I think it was 6.
5 came out in like the late 80s, so it's got to be 6.
Yeah, because it was playing in the movie theater.
Yeah, we saw it at the theater.
Yeah.
Now, here's the best part. So her friend and her come. They say, "Do you know where Darius?" "I don't know where Darius is. We're going to go to the movie, but we need an escort." I said, I'm not doing anything. My schedule's pretty wide open because I'm a single loser in this dorm by myself. Was it New Year's or Christmas?
It was New Year's. It was New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Oh,
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, because we had been at the New Year's event at the what's the hotel?
Was either the Biltmore or the Bonaventure.
Yeah, exactly. So we'd been there the night before, and we didn't get home back to Hemet until like 4:00 in the morning. That's why we were so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I walk to the movies with them. We pay for a movie. We go in and see a movie. As soon as we sit down, all three of us, we fall asleep. And I woke up at the end of the movie when the credits were rolling. So we fell asleep before the previews, and we slept all the way until the credits. And I woke up and I realized that I had not seen a single frame of that movie. Yep. I had slept through the entire thing. But I did get whatever the running time is of Star Trek 6. I did get that amount of sleep. And then I woke up these two and I was like, did you guys fall asleep too? Obviously they did, but I didn't know at what point. They hadn't seen the movie either. We had all passed out. And so that was our first kind of like, it was kind of like a quasi date. It was
as close to a date as any experience you could possibly call that at the base.
We walked to the movies, which probably took like a half hour. We slept next to each other in a movie seat, and then we walked back. On New Year's Day. What year was that? 1992?
Yep.
1991/1992.
Yeah, so it was the day before I turned 17.
Yes, there you go. That's right. It was right before your birthday because I think we went somewhere and we got something silly because it was her birthday the next day or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, thank you. Can you see your needle? Yeah, that's the one. Okay, perfect. Okay, we're getting down there.
Somebody in the comments said Mark slept with Claire on his first date. We did.
We slept together, just
sleeping
in separate seats at the movie theater. And that Tammy gal might have been in between us. I don't remember if we sat next to each other.
So. I don't know.
Yeah, I did not like the Tammy girl at all. Like, I didn't like her even a little bit. So I would have rather sat next to Claire, but I was just like, whatever. I'm kind of just a chaperone for today. And they were young. I was like seven. I was 18 at that time. So these were like 16-year-olds. I wasn't messing with them.
Yep.
Robert King said, I blew at Denver, Oregon, had a soup hanging on my truck door, hoping I would stop. I said, well, you're going for a ride.
Nice. That's
good
crazy.
Story, Robert.
Yeah.
I've been to the Denver, Oregon a bunch of times. I even went inside during, we were at a Rockies game. It was me, Claire, and the kids. We were at a Rockies game. And the Denver Scientology Denver org is right across the street from Coors Field in downtown Denver. And I told these guys, I said, hey, I'm just going to go grab a hot dog real quick. And I left. I did get a hot dog. And as I was eating the hot dog, I walked over to the org. I went into the org. I got the receptionist to take a picture of me at the reception, just like smiling or just waving. And then I asked him some questions, talked to him for a bit. And then I went back and I sat down and it was like, oh, how'd it go? I was like, oh, I got the hot dog. It's like, oh, yeah, I just went over, stopped at the org for a bit, took some pictures. And
I was like, what?
It's just like, huh? Okay, Eat More Pizza Now. Violator and Disintegration are two of the best recordings ever. Changed my mind. Violator is a Depeche Mode album. Disintegration is a Cure album. I don't know about Disintegration. I haven't listened to it that many times. I do like that as a non-Depeche Mode album, and I love Violator. Violator is one of my favorite albums, but they're like children, and you're not supposed to pick favorites. Anhata PTS says, Bobblehead Book and Necklace is the Aftermath Foundation musical. Bobblehead Book and Bracelet.
Oh, nice.
I remember Claire on with Jeffrey Augustine back in the day. Your escape story was absolutely riveting. Very Depeche Mode-ish. Oh, okay. If you say so. Yeah, Claire and I have been on that channel. Maybe we should put some links to those if you can make a little note.
Sure.
We got a link to Marilyn and we got a link to Jeffrey Augustine's. Okay, guys, we only have about 20 something questions left, and we are going to get to bobblehead picks and Shoops. And somehow I lost my subscriber little count here, so I got to put that back up. Oh no, here it is. It's 26,892. So almost 100 still. So we'll see how long the pictures take. I don't think they're going to take that long. There's a lot, but there's not that many. Okay. Where do we got here? The chat is set to subscribers only. No, it isn't. The chat is not tonight. It's not. I didn't set it. I left it open. It is on slow mode, but I did not. Let me just check here real quick. I just want to make sure. So, because then that means anybody commenting. Yeah, no, it's set to anyone who can send messages. Anyone. So yeah. The chat is set to subscribers only, so everyone who is writing in the chat is already subscribed. I wish I could subscribe more times for Bobblehead. Yeah, no.
We appreciate it, though.
It's
Thanks
wide
for
open
checking.
right now. We know half of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. That's what YouTube tells us. So I don't know why tonight they'd be off. But whatever. It's all good. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. John Sostowski says, there are no carbs if you just lick the cracker. Is that why? Oh, my goodness.
No,
yeah.
That's not why, because you were skinny at that time.
Well, yeah.
That you allegedly were a cracker licker. I mean,
yeah, in the Sea Org,
he wouldn't have been licking a cracker. He would have been stuffing it down his mouth as quick as he could. He was that starving.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if I had some crackers, I'd be eating them. And
you
I wouldn't lick them.
You can't take lies and logic and put them in the same bowl. They just don't mix together.
Yeah, there's another one. I'm telling you, this is not to cut carbs. Only lick the salt off crackers. Thank you. First time here. Very nice. Beautiful tone. Thank you, Peter Murphy.
Peter. We appreciate you being here.
Getting the subscribe button. You get more of this. This is the normal way we've been doing these things for the past few weeks. We're not trying to race. We're just doing our thing. We're going to answer as many questions. I've answered at least 20, 30 non-super chats. Yeah. We're playing a game with the subscribers, which we're doing good, but we're just not doing as good to be able to give those away. But we'll still, when we hit 27,000, which will undoubtedly, it'll be later tonight sometime. That's how this usually goes. When we get close and I try to make it, we don't make it in the live, and then a few hours later we give away a book. So
just don't forget to comment on this video once we achieve that.
That's true. If you want a bobblehead, or you want a book, or you want a bracelet, you got to write in the comments that, so we know. Say, I want a book, I want a bobblehead, I want a hardback, I want a paperback, I want a whatever you want. Put it in the comments, and then that way, it's easy for Claire just to eeny, meeny, miny, mo, bing, pick one.
Yeah, just don't forget to check your comments, because sometimes I message people saying, "Hey, email us," and then I don't ever hear. I'm like, crickets.
And then we just give another
somebody
one
else. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, it's called you snooze, you lose.
I really want a bobblehead, please. As a professional cake maker, I want to use him as a cake topper on an SPTV themed cake. I'm telling you, Armin, you might have just locked up. You might have just locked up a bobblehead for that 27K right there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to say for sure, but that's a strong contender right there. So we'll make a note. But like I said, we got to get to 27K before we're giving anything away.
The main question will be, is it going to be like a cracker-themed cake?
Well, let them do what they want. They're the baker. Ava Joy Porter says, would playing that game about making jokes about how Sci talked a good idea? Would playing that game about making jokes about how Scientology talked a good idea? Those still in might find it offensive. Am I missing something?
Oh, I think they're talking about the... go ahead. You answer.
It's the video... are you talking about the shit Scientologists say to each other? Or I don't know about making jokes about how Scientology talked. No, to tell you the truth, Scientologists watching these videos, and we've heard from them, they talk to us. We have people that message us that are still involved in Scientology, and they're just pretending not to be so they don't disconnect it from their family. But most of them really love the channel.
Yeah, and actually, on the flip side of that, when you know the terminology and speak authentically about it, Scientologists tend to listen because they know you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they also know that the things that we joke about, if they could, they'd joke about it too, but you're not allowed to joke about that kind of stuff in Scientology.
Yeah, like how many times have we compared notes with somebody that left, and the relief on their face when they're like, oh my God, you were having the same thoughts I was having. Like,
totally.
The therapy in that is just gold.
Yes, absolutely. Kate Bowen. Thank you, Kate Bowen. Appreciate it. I know a Bowen. I know a bunch of Bowens. I know a bunch of Kates too, so I like it.
Thank you for being here.
We approve of that super sticker. Thank you, Kate. I stand alone. I read the bizarre Joburg sect check online. Yeah, we should find a link to that. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
If you want to see something that is just bizarre, insane, and super racist from Hubbard, it's this thing called the Joburg sect check. You could probably just Google it, but we'll put a link if we can find a good one that looks like you can read it easily and it's complete.
Yeah, and for context, I was trained to administer that sect check when I was 14 years old.
Yeah, that'll make a lot more sense when you read it, why that is insane. Yep. Subscribed on my husband's YouTube. So one more, LOL. Thank you,
nice.
Lady BB.
Thank you.
People are, we don't really talk about this kind of stuff with our kids. I mean, they're around. They know we do lives and they know that. But the other day, one of the kids was watching one of the lives while we were doing it in another room in the house. And they were laughing about something. I think it was that bus story. They were giving me side looks. I love Marc and Claire's love story. Is one of my fave. Well, thank you, Rachel. We appreciate that. We are down to the last. We're under 20 questions left. What percentage of Scientologists would leave if they could? Thanks. Thank you, the Peace Lady. I think I would say at least a quarter of the people that are in Scientology right now that they're counting as current members are either under the radar. They don't do anything in Scientology. They don't want to be in Scientology. They're embarrassed to be involved with Scientology. And if they could just walk away and there'd be no consequences, I think at least a quarter of them. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say by the time everything's said and done, 2.5% will remain in Scientology, which is...
That's an LRH thing. L. Ron Hubbard believed that 2.5% of the population were suppressives. No matter what, just take them right off the list. 2.5% are suppressives. And then there's like another, 25% that are PTS, which is a potential trouble source to the 2.5% suppressives. So in Scientology, it's kind of a slur if you say, oh, he's a 2.5%er. That means that person's a suppressive without saying he's a suppressive. You say he's a 2.5%er. And so this is the funny thing. In Scientology, there's more ex-Scientologists than there are current Scientologists. And even in the 80s and the 90s, Scientology published an enemies list that was tens of thousands of names and groups and people long. So there's probably...
Evidently they're not practicing their math skills.
Yeah. I would argue to say that there are probably more than 30,000 people who have been declared suppressives, which is more than there are Scientologists.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
There's definitely more ex-members. There may be even more suppressive declared, because you could leave Scientology and not say anything and not get declared a suppressive person. You just ride off into the sunset and don't say anything. And there's probably tens of thousands of those easily. And then I would argue that there's 30,000 declared suppressives.
Yep.
So we definitely outnumber.
There's more declared SPs than there are actual active Scientologists.
Yeah, we 100% outnumber them. No doubt. Anon AA. When you were in, did anyone notice the tape from 1963 or so when Hubbard says he went to Venus recently and there were meat bodies and I've listened to that lecture. Yeah, yep. That's just
again, don't mix logic and lies.
Well, but also whenever Hubbard is talking about space stuff and other planets, that's all considered like hold track recall because he can remember all of his past lives. And that's how he wrote all that science fiction. He was just recalling past lives and writing stories from other lives he's had. And so that's how you kind of rationalize that stuff. It is definitely, when he's talking about it, like you're sitting in the course room listening to one of these lectures and he starts babbling on about that nonsense, you're just like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Like, it's just like, what? So outrageous. You just got 5 new subs somehow.
Nice. Thank you.
We are
Outcast.
up to, let me go back. I jumped out of my little ticker there. Tick, 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 tick. See live count. 26,911. We might do it. It's very possible.
Oh, yeah.
We have 89 left, guys. 89 more subscribers, and we're giving away a book, a bobblehead, and a bracelet tonight.
That would be a fabulous end to
would be the
show.
Best ending ever.
Yes.
A running bet, 199 super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. A running bet. Yeah. We are down to the last. Now we're almost down to 10 here. Deviant Outcast. I was promised a bobblehead early on, and I was going to email you. Then life fed. I lost my courage after that. Now what do I do if I'm valid still? No, we remember that. I 100% remember that, Deviant Outcast. You just need to send Claire an email and tell her you're Deviant Outcast and send us your address and we'll shoot it to you. You're still good.
We can't ship anything without an address, but we hold good.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look at this. Does it matter to, not to me? Which Delphi were you at and what year? 84 to 85 here, Sheridan. Okay, that's the Delphi in Oregon. I was at Delphi, LA from when it opened. I want to say it opened in 1984-ish. I was there from the day it opened, and then I didn't go there for a year. I went there for a year, then I didn't go there for a year. I didn't go to school for a year, and then, or two. And then I went back there in, I want to say 86, and I was there until 89 at Delphi, LA. It was all at Delphi, LA. And it wasn't where it is now. It was in La Cañada in Los Angeles, a suburb called, a little town called La Cañada up in past Glendale in Southern California. Thank you. Doesn't matter to you, not to me. Appreciate that. I like that when we see people in here that were there. Yes. Have everyone check that YouTube didn't, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. People, they've been doing a bunch of stuff in YouTube in the background that's been kind of messing with things here and there. And sometimes you can get unsubscribed from a channel. And a bunch of people were unsubscribed from Aaron's channel. And when they checked and subscribed, he got a bunch more subscribers. So yeah, if you're in there, we're down to 75. If you might have been unsubscribed by YouTube, it wasn't just Aaron and I, it was kind of a YouTube wide thing. People from a certain time period just kind of got unsubscribed to stuff. I don't know how that stuff works. Cheers, OC. Claire, I'm wondering what the typical workday consisted of for someone at RTC. Like during the golden age of tech days, for instance, were you guys just word clearing and shifting commas all day, or scouring for HCO policy? That's a good question, Claire. Get in there and get some of that.
Yeah, well, okay, golden age of tech days, that was for me when I was at in Clearwater. Like that's when I first met Aaron, for example. And our job was to get Miscavige's orders done. So we were literally just walking around the course rooms, watching people, making sure that they were doing what they were doing. And if somebody wasn't meeting their targets, then we would interrogate them, things like that. I mean, it was busy work at best.
But that's all day? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, and then when I was in Religious Technology Center at the property in Gilman Hot Springs, a lot of it was attending meetings with Miscavige, reading his orders, yeah.
Okay.
Doing things over and over and over again that then kept getting disapproved, things like that.
Yeah, we should make a note to just go through the daily schedule of a CERC member. And just go through, okay, 8:00, breakfast.
Yep.
Or wake up, get ready, ride the bus, eat breakfast, go through the whole thing. Somebody sent me a schedule from the imp base.
Oh, nice.
Like from the time, like in the late 80s or early 90s, it's the OODs. It's the orders of the day. So every day at the imp base, these things would get issued called OODs, the orders of the day. And it would just say, is it starboard today? Is it port today? Because depending on which day it was either port or starboard. Everybody in the entire imp base was assigned a post and a station for a fire drill and a blow drill and a power drill. This is all in my book in endless excruciating detail. But that was all listed in this printout that would go to every single person on the base every single day. You would get like a little daily newspaper, what was supposed to happen today. And if somebody was in the shits or somebody was in trouble, it would get posted in the OODs, and you get called out by your boss or the commanding officer, the executive director of your organization could call you out in the OODs like, yeah, Marc's a punk ass bitch because he didn't do that, whatever.
Yeah, and you could be publicly assigned lower conditions, restricted to the property and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It was like it was basically like our daily People magazine / action items that we're supposed to get done for the day.
Yeah, and throw in a Hubbard quote just for good measure.
Yes, always a Hubbard quote. And the schedule, everyone's schedule, when everybody was supposed to have meals, that was all listed in there. So I think if I can find that one that somebody sent me, we could just go through that and say like, oh, this is where this is.
Yeah, just so long as we make clear that it was theoretical. Because remember at breakfast, they had the officers' lounge area where they had those chairs, and there would always be like tons and tons of people sound asleep in those chairs.
Oh yeah, what do you remember what they were called?
No.
They were called the comfy chairs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The comfy chairs.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, there was a little lounge area in the dining hall that had these like what would you call them? Like it's like a sofa lounge.
Chairs, I guess.
Like a sofa lounge.
Yeah.
But just for one person.
But yeah, exactly. They were just single chairs.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that.
And they were positioned like around these little tables.
And they had a giant cushion where the seat was. Like it was like a very, very soft cushion, big, thick cushion. And you could plop into them. Personally, I could sit in one of those and sleep for the whole half hour of breakfast, and often did. So I would sit in we would walk in, I would plop in one of those chairs, and Claire would go eat. And then when she was done eating, she would wake me up and be like, okay, we got to go to muster.
Yeah. And
right?
Don't forget, we had already come from the 20-minute bus ride. So you sleep on the bus because, we often didn't sleep. That's why I was saying just make sure the schedule is theoretical. So you'd sleep the 20 minutes on the bus, go sit in the comfy chair, get another 20 minutes, and then you'd be like, okay, it's time.
Yeah, totally. That's such a great question. Oh, this is a good one too from Apostate Alex. If you haven't subscribed to Apostate Alex, just search Apostate Alex on YouTube. He's got a channel. He's joining the SPTV network, and he's been interviewing. He interviewed that helicopter woman, and he's been it's great. I think it's amazing that he's getting people on that side of the pond, and just another channel telling his story. I'm telling you, the more people that do this and the more Scientologists see that it's normal. That's another thing. It's embarrassing for Scientologists to leave and to admit that they were silly. It's not silly. You grew up in it, or you thought there was something good there. There's got to be some cheese in that mousetrap. And even though the sting of the trap is no fun, that some of that cheese might have been okay. You could eat a little bit. It's not the end of the world.
My favorite analogy on that is still to this day the sunk cost trap. Like, it is hard for people to realize, whether they burned relationships, years of their lives, hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever it was, Still, the better course of action is moving forward and getting the heck out of there, and we're here to help.
Totally. Apostate Alex says, Mark, how long did it take for you to get your sleep back on track after leaving? I still suffer from insomnia or oversleeping occasionally, anxiety about going to sleep because of nightmares, throwbacks. I tell you, that's a good question, Apostate Alex. I have not met someone from the base that has not had nightmares after leaving. I've not met one single person. Yep. They either have nightmares about getting dragged back, or that they're back there, or that somehow Dave Miscavige got your kids, or I've heard all different versions, and I've had different versions of those nightmares. Yep. And the nightmares mostly stopped when I wrote my book. After I wrote my book, I slept amazing for some reason. I don't know the mental mechanics or the theory behind it, but essentially what I've been told is that it was a way of sort of releasing all those negative thoughts or memories, or and then another person, a person who was maybe knew a lot about therapy, or maybe studied therapy in school or something. This person told me that that's basically what talk therapy is recalling bad memories or bad experiences, and then re-talking them and re-going through them, and then releasing any power that they have. So I feel that that's kind of what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to talk about these stories and look on the, I'm not going to say on the bright side, but look how ridiculous they are and how silly it all was, and to take the power out of it over us. And then also let other Scientologists know that there is a way to leave Scientology, be successful, have a life, move on, grow as a person, or professionally or personally, or however you want to do it. And even though that happened, it's not the end of the world. You can be done with it. This is the key thing. Being done with it sooner than later is better. You could do it for another 5 years, And maybe it's not the end of the world for you, but if you're in the Sea Org, you're just burning minutes and hours and days and years and months, and you can't get that back. You can be successful, you can make tons of money, you can't get that time back. So even though we do really well and we've got companies and we've got vehicles and kids and houses and all this stuff, you can't get that 15 years at the end base back. That's gone. No. It's done. So we try to encourage people, if you're already not doing it and you're already not being a Scientologist, you might as well just not stop pretending and start your life new and be done with that. And
today is the best day to get out of there.
Yeah. It's sooner is better. And we have talked to so many people that they saw a video or they listened to something and then they stayed for another 5 years. And then when they finally talk to us again, or they do decide to get out, they're like, oh, I should have done it 5 years ago. Yeah. That's what we told you 5 years ago. So it is what it is. We are under 50 subscribers away, folks. 26,952. I'm going to get this ready to share. I think we're going to click it over. I'm going to get ready to share this screen in case we do this. Are you starring more questions while I'm doing this?
No,
the questions are going up, not down.
No, they're going down.
Okay, thank you. So that was my answer, Apostate Alex. It took me, what is that, about 4 or 5 years. I wrote my book in 2009. So yeah, about 5 years I had really, really bad nightmares. And I still have them every once in a while. That's why I kind of stopped after I wrote my book and we did a bunch of these TV shows. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this Scientology stuff. And then I was kind of like pulling away, like, let's just do our lives and just be done with Scientology. Like forever. Let's just never talk about it.
And didn't we joke at one point that we were retired?
Yeah, it was just like, I'm done. I spent 15 years there. Now I spent another 15 talking about it. It's like, come on, at some point, like, let's be done with this. And then we were still helping people, and we'd still do that kind of work behind the scenes. Yeah. But then the Aftermath show and Mike and Leah were like, oh, you got to come on. And then it's like, oh, man. I just made a big announcement. Like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. I've paid, and I've done more than I did there getting people in. I've done more to get people out. I'm even. And here we are doing a 2-hour live on Tuesday.
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Thank you all for being here and subscribing. Yes. We're almost there.
Okay, we are under 10 questions. Is DM a true believer or just there for power and money? I think it's all of those things. Because he gets the power and because he gets the money, because he believes, it all goes together. But he is above the law and all that. But deep down, I think he knows Hubbard ain't coming back. And he plays along with the idea that LRH is going to come back to benefit all the people that do think he's coming back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those three cooks are all in the kitchen.
Oh my goodness. Destiny, we need a Lies and Logic Bowl t-shirt, please. Yes, that's a great one. I never heard that before. Claire, every once in a while, she pulls something out. Lathanda says, it's 4 a.m. over here and I'm still listening to you. Thank you, Lathanda.
Thank you.
Hit that subscribe button. We are down to under 40 left. They're ticking off now. Nice. People are like, oh, maybe I should subscribe. Yay, Claire's working on her book. I'm super excited. Kat and Maggie. Thank you, Kat and Maggie. We appreciate it. Reese, is it Reese or Resi? Watched you all last night. When you were all cracking up, makes me happy to think the childhood you never got. It's the child. Yeah, that is another point. I did hear that too. That once you join the Sea Org, you're kind of stunted developmentally,
yeah,
because you're kind of like taken out of the world and then you put in this bubble. And so when we got out, and that is true, that if you think about it, it kind of does make sense. When we got out, we did all kinds of crazy stuff we couldn't do in the Sea Org, like get drunk and go out to eat and do things and go on vacations and travel and fly. We've been doing that. We've been more than making up for that 15 years since. We have been all over the place and we've done all kinds of fun stuff that we would have never been able to do and we didn't get to do. So like when you say, I didn't get to go to those Depeche Mode concerts for those 15 years. Well, now I'm going to all of them. Okay. Stephen Britton, Mark, you got more subs in your first day than I got in 2 months. So don't knock it. Oh, I'm not knocking it. I just need more. We are at 26966. We need 34. Is that the right math?
Yep.
34 more subscribers and we get 27K. And then watch the comments are going to go psycho because people are going to be like, I want a bobblehead. I want a book. I want a bracelet. Yep. We are down to 4 questions left, though. So we're going over to Shoops and Bobble Picks. And if we don't get another 30, we're not getting another 30. No, you're not giving away anything right now. Nancy Griffiths of Aquatics. If the story of LRH coming back after 20 years is not true, then why did DM build him so many houses? Well, to be fair, he has one house that they built custom. And then all of his other houses that he ever lived in, they've been buying and just restoring. But I think that's what I was saying. I think playing along with buying all these houses, I think playing along and buying all these houses and like getting everything ready for LRH to come back plays into the mythology that he's coming back for the people that know that. For most Scientologists, they don't know that he said he was coming back. They thought he went to Target too. There was one person at the base or a few people that L. Ron Hubbard wrote to and said, I'm coming back and it's on this day.
Yep.
And that day passed in 2007. So he definitely missed a connecting flight or the bus he was on got a flat or something happened. But he's stuck on Target too, or I don't know. Pamela Backshell, was he the mascot? He'd need a ladder to the net. Love you both. Oh, I think that's in relation to the basketball thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot imagine playing basketball. David Miscavige, Tom Cruise, and Dustin Hoffman playing. That's a short man's league for sure. I don't know. Here we go. Oracal 1. I see a few Aussies in the house. Exciting news for Claire. I'm sure she will make a compelling expert witness. Thank you, Oracle 1.
Thank you.
Or Oracal 1, whatever it is. That was the last question. Let's get over to here. We've got Bobble Picks are up first. So was this the winner?
Hold on a minute. You got to take the comment off.
Oh, I can do that. Don't worry about that. We got that. We can take any care.
No, so last week, remember, we were having technical difficulties. So we didn't have a winner from last week.
You're right. The last week, the winner was the guy who took a picture in front of Golden Era Productions, and he got his thing, but we didn't show any more Bobble Picks, I don't think.
That's right.
New ones.
We just showed Marilyn's brilliant Duke of Chug outfit creation. Yes.
That's right. Okay, good. So this is here. Which way does it look like I'm looking? This way. Oh yeah, there we go. Let me put it over here then. Okay, so this is a Mike bobblehead, I guess in an Easter scene.
Yep.
Happy Easter. And it's a bobble pick. So it's Easter Mike.
Yep.
I see. It's just it's bobblehead themes now. So if you want to send one like this, that's fine too. And if you want to send one from in front of one of the Scientology organizations, we like that too. It's all good. We just want to see people do fun stuff with bobbleheads. Oh, pie face bobblehead. Okay, so that's St. Patrick's Day bobblehead, Easter bobblehead. And then we got pie face bobblehead. That's a good one. We were talking about that in the live that we did, and I think it's called Scientology Live number 34 with Mike Rinder and Aaron Smith-Levin and Claire and I. Pie face bobble. That's fun. Oh, this is the devil and Jesus and or
Mike fighting or Mike
Good and Evil.
Yeah.
Mike Good and Evil.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of stuff going on in this little. People are getting very creative with these. Oh, look at this one. Yep. This is Mike with. Oh no, did I just go out? Oh, there we go. Oh,
no, you're good.
I clicked on the wrong window and my my preview went away.
Oh.
The subscribers are definitely ticking over now. I'm looking at the thing over here on the side. This is Mike with. It's got some Macallans. Here, I gotta make this big. I gotta make this big on my screen over here so I can see. Okay. Oh yes, look at that. So this is the kind of booze that David Miscavige drank up in the officers' lounge. The Macallan 12-year. It's a single malt Scotch whiskey. So this has got a whole bunch of Macallan 12-year. It's got an E-meter, a Scientology E-meter in the middle, which looks like it's all charged up and working and perfectly calibrated. It's got some E-meter cans. It's got a bobblehead. And then, is that a bust of L. Ron Hubbard?
It looks like it.
It really does. If it's not, it looks very similar. Mm-hmm. Wow. What kind of collection is this? See, guys, we tell you.
It's not. It's not.
What do you mean?
I mean, it looks very, very similar, but
it's not
actually one. When
the guy's got an E-meter. That's a $5,000 Scientology prop right there.
Yep.
Somebody's got himself an E-meter. I don't know where they got it, but that is an E-meter. That's called a Marc Super 7. And that was made at Golden Air Productions, and I may have even made that E-meter because I worked in the Hubbard electrometer manufacturing, also known as HEM. And I made a ton of meters. And I do know how they work, and they are a piece of junk. It costs $400 to make this meter right here, and it was sold for $5,000. We spent $400, and $400 was very small quantity manufacturing, and very, very kind of antiquated technology for the time we were selling it. The new E-meter called is it the Mark 8 Quantum?
The Ultra.
The Mark 8 Ultra.
Yep.
The Quantum was this one, was the Quantum. The Mark Super 7 Quantum was an upgraded version of this cheap piece of junk. Yep. That's avocado. I'm pretty sure or it's called...
Booger Green?
Booger Green? No, that's not the Scientology color palette for E-meters. I can't...
It's not?
I want to say this was
match. Forest
Green or... some kind of sage green or something like that they called it. But either way, this E-meter was built for $400. Probably could have been built for $200 if you just kind of reorganize your logistics. But the new one is $40, and they still sell it for $5,000. I think the price actually even went up from the 7 to the 8, and that's the Easy Bake, the one that looks like an Easy Bake oven. That costs $40 to make that in over where they used to make Sony Walkmans in Japan or Taiwan or somewhere like that.
Taiwan, yep.
And yes, there are almost all the E-meter colors are junk. There's a lot of beiges and there's a periwinkle. There was a periwinkle for a while, and we even had gold-plated ones, silver-plated ones, and bronze-plated ones. And I think the bronze was $5,000.
The obsidian ones too.
Oh yeah, obsidian, meridian. We had all these names for all kinds of. It was a black obsidian. It was like automotive paint dipped, and but there was a bronze one was $5,000, a silver one I think was $10,000, and a gold one was $25,000, and it would cost $400 to make them, and plating and all that was like another $2,000 or $3,000. And just a regular Mark 8 today sells for like $6,000. One of these Oh yeah, there it is right there. Catherine Olson said the meter is $6,000 for non-IAS members.
Thanks for being here, Catherine.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I was like, I bet Catherine knows the answer to that.
Yeah, well, there you go. We got it. Okay, so this is Mike Bobblehead there. This is Mike with some books, bookshelf Mike. And yeah, there you go. It's just sitting there. That's a kind of fun little pic.
Yep.
And then we got, is this the Houston Mission?
No. The Houston one's coming up, I think.
Oh, well, this one's in front of somebody that's selling a Dynamics book.
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't know where it was from. Claire got the email and she put the picture in here. So if this is yours, this is Car Hood Mike. And he's there. I guess it's a mission or something. If I could zoom into that picture, I could probably read that sign.
Look, there's somebody on a ladder in the doorway there.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Mike on a hood. Then we got, this one. I know this one. This is where Chris Shelton, isn't this the one that used to be a museum or something and they turned it into a Scientology organization? I want to say it's in Minnesota or on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, something.
Is it in Philly?
I'm going to figure out a way to, maybe.
Sorry, I don't know these things, guys. not. I've never been to this place. I've seen the picture of this place a million times, and supposedly this place is giant and empty.
Yep.
Just not a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, but I like it. That Mike bobblehead looks like he's gotten younger. Doesn't that look like a young bobblehead?
Yeah.
What's up with that one? It's
Evidently,
Minnesota.
travel agrees with him.
Somebody says it's Twin Cities, Minnesota.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
There you go.
He's enjoying traveling the world.
I'm pretty sure that's where Chris Shelton was from. Was that area?
Or he was there for
or
a while.
He went there
he's
when he
from
left.
Sacramento, but yeah, he was there for a while because he was there when we helped him move to Denver.
Yeah, St. Paul, Minnesota.
That's right.
Cool. Okay, this is definitely the Church of Scientology Mission of Houston.
Yeah.
Gosh, what a shithole.
Yeah, right.
It's all the rusted fence and ugh. Anyway, this person went there with their bobblehead and took a picture right out the window. So this is the bobblehead at the Mission of Houston. So there you go. That's very fun. Come in today for a free personality test. Give yourself the knowledge of you. At least the you we want you to be.
Yeah, if you're an SP, you can leave that you at the door.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to vote for Bobble Picks, you can vote for Bobble Picks. If you like one of those more than the other ones, then let us know, and whoever's the winner, we'll send you a bracelet or a book. Guys, we are at 26,988. So we got 12 more to go.
12 to go.
And we're giving away a book, a bobblehead, and a bracelet.
Oh, my goodness. We're so close. This is going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing. I don't think
Yay.
we've ever ticked over in the live.
Yep, I don't think so.
Okay,
not that we've been aware of, anyway.
Are you guys ready for some David Miscavige Shoops of the week? What a such a fun way to end the stream with the bobbleheads and the giveaway. So here we go. I always say I'm going to chop these, and then I never do, and maybe I will. Now it's time for David Miscavige Shoops of the week. Here we go. Hubbard the Hutt wins. This won by a landslide.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this was amazing. Hubbard the Hutt, let's go through it. We went through it in last week or whatever it was, but we're going to do it again. It says Sea Org Wars, Return of the SPs. And then it's got ages 16 and up, Hubbard the Hutt religious playset. It's got Monique Yingling, Tommy Davis, Larice Stuckenbrock, or Larice, what does she call herself? Larice
Stuckenbrock.
No, I know. What's her maiden name? She doesn't go by Stuckenbrock.
Oh, Darnell Fleur.
Whatever. Larice.
Smith. Eunice is the mom.
Whatever. David Miscavige is Hubbard the Hutt's little pet. Hubbard the Hutt has L. Ron Hubbard's face, and he is smoking a cool hookah, like bong or something that's got a cool logo on it, and then it's got like a little Scientology like piece of something burning in the hookah part, and then it's got little Xenus all around the front of it, and then it's got Tom Cruise is the one who has got is that like a collar that's going to him, like a pet collar to Tom Cruise? And It says on the bottom, this is the best part, it says Operating Phaeton sold separately, and it says contents: 2 Sea Org members and 1 Prison of the Mind with RPF gates. Oh my goodness, this is so amazing.
And then I didn't read this last week, but there's also Dianetics flaunts or ignores all safety requirements of any standard.
Yes, it's so much in so little. Anyway,
and then don't forget the cool on
on the hookah. Yeah
Okay,
so this guy, email us if Claire hasn't already emailed you. She'll be able to figure out which one it is, but if this was yours, we'll send you a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet. You get one too. We are giving out so much stuff tonight, guys. This is the new one for this week, and this is like some kind of troll, and it says Scientology, where the troll is real and the bridge is a fairy tale. That is funny. I love that. Okay, so let's see what else we got. It says there's a sign behind David Miscavige, the troll, who's got a big stash of cash and a bunch of Chase credit cards in his hand. And when we get to 298, tell me, or 290. Oh, we're at 298. Shoosh. Okay, so it's got imaginary bridge out, and then it's got that looks like a Grant Cardone in the back with the Dianetics book, and then it's got that Katie gal, and then I can't tell who that is and who these other people are that are falling. They're falling off the bridge. Maybe it's Marty and one of the PIs or something like that. I can't tell who it is.
Oh, we're at 999.
No, we're at 26,997.
No, I just refreshed.
Oh, yep, 26,999. Okay, let me push this up here real quick, guys. Let me share this. We're gonna go.
How exciting!
We can see. Hopefully, can I do it? Can I do it in time? Which one is it? Which one is it?
Your sound effects are hilarious.
There it is. Okay, allow. There we go. I'm just going to put this up here. Come on.
Woohoo! Look at that.
Come on.
Come on
27K. Come on. Oh, you got to be kidding me, guys. Come on. One person's got to subscribe.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we're at 27001.
How are you seeing it before me?
Because I'm on the channel page and I refreshed. Boom, we did it. We're giving him away.
Okay, well, hold
boom,
on.
Boom.
Oh, well, that's silly. Oh, look at that. It just refreshed.
Yeah?
You got to be kidding me.
Gotta love technical difficulties, folks.
Well, no, it's on. I can see it, but it's not there. Look at. So we'll see.
Aaron's in the house. He just did here. Put up his super chat.
Oh, shoes. Hold on.
Come on.
Everything's going crazy here.
This is so exciting.
Everything here. Let me stop that, and then we'll do it again here, just so everybody can see. Here it is. Boosh. There you go. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
27,009. We did it.
Boom.
Okay. So now listen. We're going to go back to the Shoops. But if you want a bobblehead, or you want a bracelet, or you want a book, this is the time. We're giving them out. We're going crazy. We're doing all this. Guys, this is a pretty big deal. We started this channel like 2 months ago. We started it mid-December. I was like, yeah, I'll do a video every week. And I think I had like 200 subscribers. We've got 27,000 subscribers in 2 months. You guys did it. We are doing this. We're getting people out of Scientology. We're helping people. We're entertaining people. And so, yeah, we're going to give away.
Educating, enlightening.
Yes.
We're
going to give away some stuff. We got all kinds of stuff. We're going to give it away.
Read Aaron's comment. I put it up for you.
Yeah, it says, growing up in Scientology, congrats on 27,000. That deserves 6 birthday game points. Oh, my goodness, Aaron. Yes. Okay,
yes.
Back to the Shoops. Okay, let me remove this. It's already good. We're good. Okay, Scientology, where the troll is real and the bridge is a fairy tale. I really do like this one. He's got that sign that says imaginary bridge out, and then he's got Grant and Kelly and a bunch of other people falling off this fake bridge. So this is David Miscavige, the troll. If you like this one, you can vote for this. If you've already got a book, a bobblehead, and oh my goodness, what is going on? If you've already got a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet, you can still vote on which one wins and then get somebody else to win one of these. This is David Miscavige's head put on Borat's a Borat type swimsuit model. What is that called? It's called a mankini, okay, or a banana hammock. I think they call it. This is Banana Hammock Dave, or Mankini Dave. David Miscavige Mankini. And then this is Silence of the Lambs Dave. You've got Agent Starling here. Talking to David Miscavige behind the what do they call that? The Lexan bulletproof glass. This is Silence of the Dave. This one says, I'm in deep something. I'm in deep poo now. I'm in deep shit now. And it's got Dave up on the potty. He's got a little potty assist. It says, people say love is the best feeling, but I think finding a toilet when you're having diarrhea is better. And yeah, it's got a picture of Dave on the potty, and he's wearing his suit. He didn't even take his jacket off. Not a good move. Yeah. Okay. So this is Potty Dave. This one, this is just weird. Looks like some kind of historical photo taken with some dudes with dreads, and Dave's just chilling with them. So this is Dreads and Dave. That's just weird. Okay, this is Dreads Dave. This one has Dave Miscavige dressed up like Napoleon. And it says, don't listen to those SPs. Trust me, this is our best year ever. And then it has a ship that says Scientology membership. And it's doing a Titanic nosedive right now. And then he's leaning on a bust of L. Ron Hubbard that says, LRH, our founder. That one's pretty good. This is a picture of Dave Miscavige picking his nose. And it says, pick us a winner. Okay. Okay, that's nose picking Dave. This one says, Xenu, you are not the source of body thetans. And looks like Xenu and L. Ron Hubbard were on Jerry Springer, and he announced that Xenu is not the father of the source of body thetans. Okay, guys, that is a lot of fun. Are you ready to give away some stuff?
Yes, I am.
Well, I forgot. That was David Miscavige Shoops of the Week. It's going to be a giant interruption in the middle where we hit the 27K. Thank you, guys. That was pretty fun, hitting that 27K. I didn't think we were going to be able to do it.
Yes. So our winners are Cassie Isaac wins an SP bracelet. Woohoo!
Cassie Isaac. There you go.
Yes.
Cassie, you win an SP bracelet. Send Claire an email in the description, and you get an SP bracelet.
And Joe Adams wins a bobblehead.
Joe Adams, you win the bobblehead.
Yep. And
Send Claire an email.
Jeannie Waters gets a signed book.
Jeannie Waters, you get a signed book. Awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations, guys.
So just make sure you email me because I don't have a way to email you. So please send me an email with your address and we'll get those shipped out first thing tomorrow morning.
Nice. Thank you very much, guys. And then just because I like to do it just in every video, for you guys that don't know, we talk about all of the stuff that happened. A lot of this is all in my book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology, written by myself. It's my story of how I grew up in Scientology and how I worked at the international headquarters of Scientology in Gilman Hot Springs, California, the secret int base for 15 years. Tells the story of how I escaped with the help of the police, law enforcement, and how I got away from there, and then how I busted my hot wife out and got her to join me in the real world afterwards. And if you want a copy of that book, you can go to blownforgood.com where we sell hard copies, paperback and hardbacks, and we sign every single one that you order from blownforgood.com. We sign. I sign and Claire signs. And we send that out to you in the mail ourselves. Put our little paws on it and stick it in the box and send it to you. And if you don't care about any of that and you just want to read the book, you can get it on Kindle or Audible or wherever digital books are sold. And we sell these bobbleheads that you've seen all these pictures of and these SP bracelets here. And when we do that, the proceeds of those, all of the proceeds of bobbleheads and SP bracelets go to support the Aftermath Foundation. And the Aftermath Foundation is a foundation that Clara and I are on the board of, where we help people that are escaping from or planning to escape from or have escaped from Scientology. We help them kind of put the pieces of their life back together, get a job, get a place to stay, kind of sort out what they need to sort out so they can start over. And if you don't care about bobbleheads and you don't care about bracelets, you can, and you just want to support the Aftermath Foundation, you can go to the aftermathfoundation.org, and they have a donate button. They have a volunteer button. Sometimes when people need some help it could be anywhere in the world. Either we need to get them to, or we need to get them from. You might give a person a ride to the airport. Catherine, who made a comment in here earlier, and we needed somebody to pick her up and take her from the Scientology place that she worked in Ohio. She needed a ride to the airport, and a volunteer that clicked volunteer on the aftermathfoundation.org, we said, you're up. You're in Ohio. We need you to pick this girl up from here and take her to here. And that's how she got there, right?
Yep.
Am I right?
No, you're absolutely right. And that volunteer now proudly wears her SP bracelet.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's how this works, folks. This is like, what do they say?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. Takes a village. We can't, sometimes even getting a Sea Org member in Uber is not possible based on where they are. Kind of, we need to get them out stealthily at this place, at this location. It's easier if we just have somebody who say, hey, can you take this person, pick them up at the supermarket and take them to the airport? And then we get them a ticket and we fly them to freedom.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, you can do that at the Aftermath Foundation. Now this one, I can't use this anymore. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 27,000 scubs. Yeah, we did it. So I don't need to show it. And guess what? If you haven't subscribed, you can still do it, even though we got to 27,000. Or if you're watching this video and it's, it's not now. If you want to subscribe, help the channel. It helps the algorithm, and it helps us get the word out to more people. 75% of our views on YouTube are from YouTube promoting our channel to people that don't watch our videos. And that's how we get most of 75% of our views on our channel. So, yeah, hit that subscribe button.
Yep.
That was a marathon, folks. We did it. Thank you all for staying to the very end. This was a 2 hour and 40-minute live, which is the new record. If you stuck around to the end, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Claire's got a video coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
As another interview
Part
that she
2
did
with Jefferson Hawkins. Yes.
Scientology stories. We've got a Spy Files coming out tomorrow. And also, tomorrow morning, we have a Spy Files coming out on Thursday. Tomorrow morning, we have the Spy Files is being released on the podcast. So if you're a podcast person and you like to listen to Claire's interviews on there, then go subscribe or download over on the Blown for Good podcast, wherever podcasts are at. That is everything.
As always, special shout out to Goldie. We love you, Goldie. Thank you for everything you do. You're amazing.
For those who don't know, Goldie is our moderator, and she's the only moderator, and she's amazing. She's also a moderator on Aaron Smith-Levin's Growing Up in Scientology channel. I'm not sure if she's a mod on Mike's channel. I don't know how she could do so many different channels.
She's on a bunch.
She's on. I think she does Poe on the Go, and she does. She's all over the place, and so. We sent Goldie a little special something for she's getting hitched. So hopefully she likes that when she gets it. Otherwise, until next time, folks.
She got it. She loved it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Until next time.